Evening. Buyer's remorse. Buy a new car? I'll be moving in. Let's get started.
Sorry, I think there's been a mistake. I bought it from Carvana.
You what?
Yeah, great price. I even have 7 days to love it or return it.
So there's no...
No buyer's remorse. More like buyer's rejoice.
I guess I'll let myself out. Congratulations. I mean it.
Buyer's rejoice. Buy your car today on Carvana.
Limitations and exclusions may apply. See our 7-day return policy at Carvana.com.
Adventures don't always go as planned. One minute you're cruising in your RV, the next your tire hits a massive pothole. Progressive is ready for you when the unexpected hits, with excellent claim service for your boat, RV, and motorcycle. Plus optional coverage like roadside assistance and on-the-water towing. Visit Progressive.com and make sure your next adventure is unforgettable, for the right reasons. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Coverage is subject to policy terms and limits.
Good morning, DJ and PK. It's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Welcome in on a Monday morning. Here we sit in mid-July. Baseball taking a break. The All-Star game coming up. We're really in a part of the season that's heavily European. That's just the time of year in the sports season. Wimbledon is just finished. The British Open, the Open Championship, is about to commence. And we're going to be watching World Cup semifinals Tuesday and Wednesday in the middle of the afternoon because they're in prime time in Europe. That's right. That's where the real money is. So, what can I say? Heavy European influence this time of year. I've seen a lot of people complaining about the afternoon World Cup games. You know, people are at work and all that, but They're trying to program for South America. They're trying to program them for Europe. They're trying to program them for North America. You know, it's not going to be perfect. And let's be honest. Fox has got the Major League Baseball All-Star Game Tuesday night. Home Run Derby is tonight. What do they want primetime soccer for? They got a primetime event Tuesday night. They need an afternoon game Tuesday. France and Spain. This is like 4-1 seeds in the NCAA basketball tournament. It's these FIFA World Rankings. Oh, there's not enough competition between continents. I mean, a nice kind of rough estimates of where teams feel, but you can't really trust them. Yeah, and now we're down to the Final Four, and it's the top 4 teams. France and Spain Tuesday in one semifinal, and then England and Argentina Wednesday in the other, and they're ranked 1, 2, 3, 4 in the world. If I had to pick, I would take France over Spain. That Argentina-England game, man, they both looked a little shaky. I picked Argentina at the start, so I'll stick with them. I got France over Argentina in the final. That was my pick at the start. And predictably, they are talking about a 64-team World Cup now. It'll be looked at for 2030. Yeah, they'll do it. There'll be more games. They'll make more money. They're going to do it. And the truth is, with 48 teams, and we got a lot of good games that, you know, teams wouldn't have made it. Right? Africa, they doubled the number of teams that come in from Africa, and then most of them advanced. A couple exceptions. Teams from Asia largely got blown out. But there were a lot of good games, a lot of good stories, whether it's Curacao, Cape Verde. I mean, it's just on and on. So I think they're going to go to 64. As far as baseball, you know, the story with baseball, there's a handful of teams that you can't clinch yet, but they just look great here at the All-Star break. I mean, obviously the Dodgers with just a spectacular. They're the only team that's made it to 60 wins. Although unexpectedly, the second best record in baseball belongs to Milwaukee Brewers, and man, nobody saw that coming. But there's a few teams that are in, and there's a few teams that are out. I would think that in the American League, with everyone so mediocre, I would say Kansas City, the Angels, and the Athletics. Probably out, but after that, even the Tigers might be in. So do they keep Skubal or do they trade him? My Padres are right at 500. I think there's legitimately 8 teams fighting for the 3 wild cards right now. There's 4 teams out. The Giants and Rockies are really bad. Cincinnati and the New York Mets. And that's it. I think everybody else plausibly has a shot. So, the excellent reliever in San Diego Miller. He's got 25 saves now. He saved games Saturday and Sunday. But is he going to be on the market? Are they buyers or sellers here with the trade deadline coming up? So I think that's kind of the story. And everyone's got to hope things can turn around because the Cubs were great. And then the Cubs were terrible. But now the Cubs are great again, and they're back in a wild card spot. And the Red Sox, I mean, they were left for dead. They just went 9-0 on a road trip for the first time since 1977. And now they're only 2 games under 500. In the American League, that puts you right in the middle of the wild card race. I mean, they are right in the mix, and especially because the Yankees got off to such a great start. But with Judge out, they've still got the best wild card spot. But if they don't get Judge back, they might just come back to the pack here. New York, Cleveland sit in wild card spots. Seattle and Minnesota tied for the last one. And Boston's only a half game out. The Astros are a game and a half. The Orioles are 2. The Jays are 2.5. And Detroit's 3.5. I mean, literally anything can happen. This is what they wanted with 3 wild cards, and now they've got it. Everybody's in. And the law of unintended consequences, should you trade your stars or not? Are you a buyer? Are you a seller? Do you have a chance? Because if Screwball goes to a team that's good and bolsters a rotation, and the Dodgers got to hope Detroit stands pat. They can probably sign Screwball on the open market, and they'll get him. But they don't want to have to face him this year. And because he can swing a series. And if you got somebody to go with him, look out, right? You got Mizorowski, look out. All right, DJ and PK, we got to take a break. Coming up, we got to get to the Utah Mammoth, and we've got to get to the Utah Jazz. We've got some college football coming up for you later this morning. Big 12 Media Days last week. Everybody's back now, including Mitch Harper, who covers BYU. We're going to talk with him coming up at 8 o'clock this morning. Chandler Holt's going to join us live from Las Vegas, Jazz Insider. He's down at the Summer League. And a 6 for 18 shooting performance for Darren Peterson and a blowout loss to the Clippers. The Jazz got hammered in the third period last night. They played the Spurs Wednesday. We'll talk with Chandler coming up at 9 o'clock. We've actually got a little bit on the Jazz later this hour, but next it's the Utah Mammoth as they introduce some new players. Stay with us. Good morning, DJ and PK. It's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Bill Armstrong with a press conference. Anders Lee, Vincent Trocheck. Man, what an acquisition for the Utah Mammoth. And they're trying to thread a needle here. And I think Bill Armstrong will address this a little bit. They've got too many prospects. They don't need that many prospects. They want to give up their top prospects. So can they move some of them, make sure they move the right ones, and bolster this team for next year without giving up the guys who should be carrying this team in the next decade? You know, they're drafting these young players, right? So you're 18, 19 years old. Yeah, you could be really good in 2030, and you could be in your prime lighting it up in 2035. And that sounds a long way away, but that's the plan. You draft these guys so young. Actually, it's true in both the NBA and the NHL. Probably Major League Baseball to that point also. Probably not the NFL, just because guys do 3 years of college, not coming out at 18, 19 or whatever. And the game's so violent, you just can't be sure you're going to be healthy. Although some draft picks now could have a big impact on that season, I suppose, 2035. So the question for the Mammoth then is, how much do you dare give up? How good can you get in the short run without jeopardizing the long run? I think the long run has to be the priority. But they've got so many prospects. They don't need them all. All right. So, introducing, all eyes on Trocheck, right? Here's Bill Armstrong, Anders Lee, and Vincent Trocheck on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Bill, let's start with you, bringing these 2 players in today, giving them their first taste of this facility. And Utah, what has the morning been like so far?
Well, it's been great. It's a proud moment for the organization to have these 2 special players join our organization and kind of see where they're going to work and live and raise their family and be part of the community. So it's a big day for us.
And for both of you, if you could just talk about the experience, the excitement you both have, and what role you guys want to play here with the Mammoth.
Yeah, I think it's been a whirlwind of a few weeks and just been so excited. My wife and I and our kids are looking forward to getting in town and getting settled. And the last couple of days, just being here and driving around and seeing what our life could look like and the mountains and all that stuff. And the people have been phenomenal. And then coming in today and seeing the facility and getting to meet the staff and all the guys we'll be, working together with, it's been pretty incredible.
Yeah, piggyback off him. This is my first full day here. We got in late last night, but just to be able to come and see the facility, it's a pretty special place, honestly. There's not many places, if any, like this in the league. So my first taste has got me pretty excited.
Gentlemen, welcome to Utah. Anders, this is your first time putting on a different NHL sweater. How does it feel after spending so much time in one organization?
Yeah, it's a big change. There's no doubt about it. But the last few weeks, the last week and a half here, I've gotten to every day I look at this jersey and the logo and start to like it even more and start to feel more comfortable with it. And I think getting in town today and yesterday and getting a feel for things, you just start to begin the process of settling in.
And then for both of you, just what was it about Utah that drew you in? I know, there's a lot of interest from both of you, it sounded like, for other teams and everything. Like, what was it about Utah that was, where you had to be this year?
I mean, I think to start, it's just the team. Obviously a lot of potential and been taking a lot of strides the last few years. Very good young team. And I think for me, one of the biggest things is just going to a team that has a chance to win. So seeing that and then talking to a lot of the players, I'm close with Logan Cooley, Pittsburgh guy. Talked to him, talked to Kells, talked to a couple guys that I know on the team. They've just talked about the organization, the way that Ryan treats the players and how awesome it is here. So it just, all of that put together kind of got me excited, and that's what kind of made me want to come here.
Cole Bagley, KSL Sports. Vincent, you talked about a little bit. How excited are you to play with a former fan in Logan Cooley?
Yeah, I'm actually super excited. We were talking about it for a couple of weeks leading up to it, how it was kind of a possibility that I was going to come here, and I wasn't 100% sure how real it was, and he was texting me every day for what felt like 2 weeks, asking me what was going on, and every day at the rink, we skate together in the summer, so we'd always just kind of fantasize a little bit about what it would be like to play together. And I got to watch him kind of grow up from a young age and watch him grow into a spectacular hockey player. And it's exciting. I mean, I watched him when he was 12, he was skating with us and making me look bad. So he still does that now, but now to be able to play with him on the same team is going to be cool.
Vince, another question for you. There's a lot of center depth on this team, and there's a possibility that you may have to play outside of your usual role. How comfortable would you be playing on the wing as opposed to center?
Yeah, I'm comfortable playing pretty much anywhere up front. I think when you're a forward, I think centers and wings is kind of interchangeable. It's just a matter of once you start playing, I mean, there's a face-off, and then once you play, you're playing. Like, if you're the first guy back, you're low. If you're the first guy on the forecheck, you're F1. It's not necessarily whether you're playing center or wing. I think it's just throughout a game, the forwards are interchangeable parts.
Sarah Merrifield with the Mammoth broadcast. For both of you, I'd love to hear a little bit about what fans can expect to see from you as players. And, obviously with the experience you guys bring here, what can they get excited about to see you guys out there on the ice? We'll start with either one of you.
Go ahead.
Well, my game, I use my size, my body. Like to do a lot of the dirty work for the guys on my line and get to the net front, get in front of the net and try to create some havoc for the goaltender and, play a 200-foot responsible game outside of that, and kind of allow the skill guys to do their thing, and I'll meet them back in front and try to put something dirty in the net.
I also like to use my size. And honestly, I play a similar style. It's a lot of dirty work, hard on the forecheck, gritty style game, play 200 feet, play on the penalty kill power play wherever I can.
And Bill, to kind of follow up on what they've said, as tactically speaking, the pieces of the puzzle that fit with this organization, what do you see from these two and how you expect them to play with this group?
Well, our goal has always been the same, is to compete for and ultimately win a Stanley Cup. And I feel with these two players beside me to my left that we're one step closer to doing that. I love where they fit in on our team. Doing background on these guys was a thrill to know and understand how much they care about team. We have to get more competitive if we want to make it out of the first round, and I think by adding these two guys, we do that. They play a game that's a hard game, an inside game with skill, and they can beat you with their bodies or their minds. For us, we needed that inside game. We also needed players to be flexible. If you're going to win, there's 12 forwards. It's not, hey, I'm playing here, I'm playing there. It's whatever it takes to win. and we need guys to buy into that. We have so many different things that we can do with our club. I think it's our strength now. If we go play a team that matches up a certain way, the lines can be super flexible. Gives coach a lot of different weapons to use in a lot of different ways. And I think that's going to give us a chance to take that next step.
And then, Anders, one follow-up question unrelated. This Utah community has really embraced hockey here in these last 2 years. I know you have a track record with being really involved in the community from where you came from. Can you just explain why that's so important to you to be involved, and then also what you hope to do here in Utah?
Yeah, I think, we're, as hockey players and professional athletes, we're in positions where, we're on TV or we're in front of you guys today. And I think we have an opportunity to make an impact with that platform, and was able to do that a lot in New York and in Long Island, and meant a lot to me and my family to help kids with cancer and families that are going through a pediatric diagnosis. And I would love to continue to do that in this community and be able to give back. I think that's a pretty special thing that as athletes we have that opportunity to do, and something that I've really enjoyed doing, and would love to see where that can go here in Utah and in Salt Lake. I can tell from coming and playing here the last couple of years how much this team has been embraced and the energy that's in this building. And you see that around town, even the short period that we've been in. So looking forward to getting into that.
Matt Como with NHL.com. Anders, you mentioned that you've played against this team the last couple of years. What have you seen as an opponent of this team, and what are you expecting to see out of these guys this season?
Well, I think as an opposing player the last few years, you can tell every year they're taking a step. That game is more difficult. It's not. It's a hard game to play. The skills on a different level. There's a lot of chasing going on at times, and you got to catch up with some of these guys. And you could see that. You could see that on their run last year and in the playoffs, that these guys, their window's coming up and it's open. And that was a big part of, the fit for me, wanting to come to a team that has an opportunity to win.
And then, Vincent, you mentioned practicing with Logan Cooley. Just what are some of the things that he's mentioned about Utah and just being here outside of the game of hockey?
He doesn't talk much, honestly. No, he says nothing but great things, mostly about the organization. That was the one thing that I really wanted to know about, was just how the organization was run and everything. And he had nothing but high praise for how everything is. And obviously I've been able to see the facilities today. They're unbelievable. And like I said earlier, how Ryan is able to do whatever he needs to do, whatever it takes to try to win. That goes a long way. So, yeah, he had nothing but great things to say. I've been talking to him about the community and where I should live and things like that. And he has very little insight to all those things. But it's been good.
Vincent, perhaps you've already alluded to this, but last year Utah was part of your no trade clause. This year they came off. What changed? What sort of perspective changed to bring them off and to be willing to come here?
Yeah, it's just like I was saying before. It was just going to a team that I think can win was the most important thing for me. Been in the league a long time, and I haven't won anything, so that's what's most important to me. So that was first and foremost. And then, like I said, talking to Cools and Kells, hearing how awesome the organization is and how well it's run, that was just another added bonus,
You guys both played in the New York area the last number of years, so you played against each other a lot. Can you each tell us what you're getting out of the other player, or what the fans are getting out of the other player from a competitor standpoint?
Yeah, I'm getting a competitor to play with, someone that is not going to let you get by him easily, someone that can make plays all over the ice, and he has that ability to finish on a goal. I mean, Troch has always been someone that you kind of hate lining up against in a way. It's going to be a tough shift and you got to earn it. And, he's had a phenomenal career doing that. And it's nice we'll be on the same side now.
Yeah, it's been a pain in the ass playing against Anders the last few years, to be honest with you. Anytime for me lining up against him, I know that I'm going to have to hand him off to the D because I know I'm not moving him out of the net front. So you're getting a guy that's obviously a great leader. He's been a leader in New York for a long time. great guy off the ice, and then on the ice, you're getting a competitor who's going to play hard. You see him standing up for his teammates. Great net front guy, can put the puck in the back of the net. So a lot of great things.
Grace Lawrence, Fox 13 Sports Utah for Vincent. I mean, you talked about your talking to Clayton Keller. Just can you talk about that relationship and what it was like to win gold with him a few months ago? Yeah, it was obviously being able to go over there and win a gold medal with him was pretty special. But him as a person is just, you know what you're getting with him. He's just a great guy, great person, great leader. He cares about his teammates. And obviously he's a phenomenal hockey player on the ice. He's got a ton of skill. He does all the right things. He doesn't cheat. He doesn't cut corners. So talking to him in the last couple of weeks, just getting a feel for Utah as a community and as a team. He's been a great guy to lean on. And then for both of you, you both talked about wanting to win. What would a successful year one look like for you guys in Utah? I mean, every year you go into it, you come into training camp and your goal is to win the Stanley Cup. And I think you talk to anybody around the league, there's no moral victories. I think that's the goal, and that's what we're all shooting for.
That's it.
All right, the Utah Mammoth with the introductory press conference. We'll take a break. When we come back, Jake Scott is furious. I get it, but I'm with PK on this one. We'll get to that next. Stay with us.
Queen Carvania stood haloed by the morning sun. An army hung on her every word.
My champions, I have sold my chariot on Carvana. 'Twas a lovely SUV, an inexplicably queenly offer. They're even coming to the castle to collect it. Tonight, we feast. An offer you can feast on. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
Insurance isn't one size fits all. That's why drivers have enjoyed Progressive's Name Your Price tool for years now. With the Name Your Price tool, you tell them what you want to pay, and they'll show you options that fit your budget. So whether you're picking out your first policy or just looking for something that works better for you and your family, they make it easy to see your options. Visit Progressive.com. Find a rate that works for you with the Name Your Price tool. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Playing mobile games and not getting rewarded for it is a thing of the past. Why haven't you switched yet? If you're going to spend the time playing, you should be earning rewards doing it. With Misplay, you play what you love and earn points for gift cards and more. Plus, you can enter the Missed Play sweepstakes for your chance to win tens of thousands of dollars in cash, bundles, and gift cards every week. So yeah, keep playing games. Just maybe get rewarded for it. Download Missed Play today and enter for your chance to win.
Good morning, DJ and PK. It's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jake Scott joined us on Friday. We didn't talk a lot about the rookies. We'll get to that coming up with Darren Peterson, 6 of 18, shooting 23 points. And the Jazz get blown up by the Clippers. Cody Williams, Ace Bailey, a combined 0 for 7. Not good. We'll talk about that coming up. But right now, it's all about Donovan Mitchell, Supermax in Cleveland. Jake joined us, and then we attacked him 2-on-1. I don't even know why he's such a good guest. Why would you do that, to come in and get beat up by the two of us? All right, here's Jake Scott with PK and I. Jake, good morning. What is wrong with you?
Yeah, that's the stupidest guest you've ever had on the air. It's a real pleasure to be here. You guys make it a habit of insulting guests.
No. We do this. No, we do this special for you.
I know. I heard you yesterday too. So hey, I know an ambush when I see one. Like Virtual Cole and Appaloosa. No. I'm happy to be here.
No,
good to talk to you both.
That is an oxymoron. If you see it, it's not an ambush. Those two things, that's a logical, it's illogical. It doesn't work. I'm sorry. You have to retract that.
I'm okay with it, though.
Wow, great point, DJ.
All right, so you got into, here we go. Put the gloves on.
Yeah, that was a little dripping right there.
Yeah. Jake is the most... Jake is the most...
I was called stupid.
Jake is the most negative, positive person I know. You are, no, seriously, Jake, you are positive, you are upbeat, you are fun, you're quick to laugh, you have an engaging laugh. We just heard it right there. But at the same time, the cynicism, the cynical nature, I was listening one day to you and Ben, and I can't remember what it was. And I was in my car and all the other stations were broken. Ben even said something. I can't remember what it was. He said, I want to give so-and-so the benefit of the doubt. And right away, you're like, nope, they did it. And he imitated your voice, and it was spot on. And you're like, yeah, I knew it. They were bad. I don't even remember what it was. Somebody screwed up in the world of sports. I think it was a national story. I don't even think it was local. But it was and I was like, yes, because, and you did it at the media days. You did it. You had on the, you guys did a really good interview with the guy who runs the college football playoff.
Yeah,
the executive director. And it was your turn to ask a question, and you just the shortest question. And he was talking about who has influence and 12, 16, 24 teams. What are they going to do? What are all the things they're weighing? And you're like, yeah, but what about the media partners? The shortest question is like, they have the money, they call the shots. Stop wasting my time.
I only got a couple of questions for that, dude. I had to hit him with it. And by the way, that Ben thing, he was talking about Diana Rossini, and who turned out right on that one.
Yes, that is what it is. You're right. That is what it is.
You know what, DJ? You guys, I've known you both for, I don't know, 20 whatever years it is now. And when you first met me, I was, I still consider myself at times optimistic. But, I was optimistic. And then, of course, I listened to DJ and PK for 20 years, and I can't help but get beaten down by life.
Yeah, there it is.
It just turned into a cynical realist is what I like to call it. Yeah.
My work here is done.
But you know what, PK and I had it out on the air, and you know what we did? We walked back to the hotel, and then we went to dinner and had a bunch of laughs. It's
okay.
I love you guys, you know it. Even though you invite me on to try and go out. But that's cool. I'm here for it.
I just want to know why you're so wrong about this. That's all.
Well,
That's
first
all I want to
of
know.
all, I love how arguments are characterized when one person isn't there.
That might be true. I've had that happen. So here's the deal. For people just join us, because we all know what we're talking about, and everyone else. You and PK are the star, and PK hasn't been able to pick on me for 2 days, so he decides, hey, there's Jake. I'm going to get into it with him. Donovan Mitchell, but it turns out, if PK characterized it correctly, I'm 100% with PK on this.
He thought it was a bad contract. They shouldn't have done it.
You think Cleveland shouldn't have re-signed Donovan Mitchell. PK thinks they should. I think they should. I think they had to. I don't understand how they could not sign Donovan Mitchell. The beating they would take would make what Boston is getting for not signing Jaylen Brown look like nothing.
Yeah.
It looked like a water fight. It looked like nothing.
That's a fair assessment, right, Jake?
Yeah, PK had some nonsense about fans and what the fans.
Well, that's what he's saying. The beating. He just said that. The beating.
Okay.
Yeah, but the fans are money.
Right.
I get it. It's fans. You can't have fans run your organization, but you can have season ticket holders dropping their tickets. And more importantly, you can't have, there it is, the fans who are sponsors of multi-million deals. Like, why are we sinking millions into this team? They were just in the conference finals. Now they're going to slip back into the middle of a mediocre East, which is, I think, what would happen if they didn't have Donovan. And I think, having watched a lot of basketball with you, I think I know why you don't want to give Donovan the money. And I get it, and I would think many of those things right before I gave him all the money. And the out for people like you, is sign and trade. You can't not sign him. Now, if you can sign him and trade him, you can get a lot back. If you look at Donovan and say he's too small, he doesn't want to defend some of the time, most of the time, all of the time. And even when he does, if he does want to defend, they switch bigger guys and he's got to try to defend some dude who's 6 or 8 inches taller than him. And that's like not how you build a champion. You want to make a trade? Okay, fine. But you can't give him away for 30 cents on the dollar, and you can't let him walk the way Gordon Hayward did, because honestly, sponsors are gone. People in luxury suites are gone. Cleveland has the NFL. Cleveland has Major League Baseball. Cleveland has Ohio State 2 hours down the road, and if you live down the road a little bit, maybe they're only an hour and a half away. So they got to stay relevant. They can't let him walk. That guy's, he's a bucket getter, and you were just in the conference finals with him as your leading scorer. You got to re-up him.
Okay. Well, great characterization of why Donovan's flawed and the situation. Okay, so let me tell you guys a parable, and I always screw this up, but I think you'd like it. So if I'm telling it wrong, whatever. But so Jesus and Moses were playing golf. Okay, they're out there playing golf, and Moses hits his drive, and it goes a little bit into the rough. And so what Moses does
6'10",
is
yeah, what do you expect?
Moses parts the nearby lake, flooding the course, floating Moses' ball up to the cup, and dropping it in for a hole-in-one. Jesus looks over at Moses and says, "Hey, are we here to fart around or are we here to play golf? What is the point? What is the point? Is the point to win a championship and to be the best basketball team in the NBA, or is the point to fart around with a bunch of sponsors? The point is to win. And the point I'm making is that you're not going to win supermaxing Donovan Mitchell. David, it's the contract. It's how big the contract is to the wrong player. I think they should trade him now, let alone extend him. I think they should flip him now. He's not going to get them where they want to go based on all the stuff you just said. And right now they're in the middle of making a bunch of terrible decisions because they're going to re-up James Harden, and maybe we'll see LeBron sign a minimum deal there, and it's a bad fit, and it's not going anywhere. And once in the NBA, listen, I know PK loves his Dodgers with all his heart, but this is not Major League Baseball. You can't just buy everything. You have to spend your money correctly. This is true in the NBA. This is true in the NFL. So, the Patriots in the NFL got a bunch of pushback for not re-signing a bunch of aging, very popular players. They let guys like Wes Welker go because it was not popular with the fans. I'm sure the beloved sponsors were saying, "Oh, I love Wes Welker." What the Patriots did was they paid the right people and they had the right superstar. Now, again, for all the reasons you're laid out, David James, so eloquently, Donovan Mitchell is not the right superstar. And honestly, the entire league, the Jazz, forever, what are they trying to find? The right superstar and the right way to build around that superstar, period. What are the Lakers, PK's beloved Lakers, what are they doing? They're trying to build around the right superstar. And if you're talking about Supermax, you're talking about 35% of the cap. You're talking about a crazy amount of money and restricting all of your flexibility. So is that player good enough? The answer is no. So you can talk about Quicken loans and putting people in suites, but what's the point? What is the point of what we're talking about? Because I don't care in the slightest about Cleveland Cavalier fans or their sponsors. I'm talking about what is the smart thing for the franchise to do.
Does Donovan Mitchell make their team better or worse? If he leaves, is the team better?
In what term? I mean,
Wins
now,
and losses.
10 years from now, 5 years from now? I mean, who cares about that? The idea
next season.
To win. Hey, PK, the NBA is long-term, man. You got
5 seasons from now.
I disagree. The NBA's never been more short-term. I mean, we're seeing teams go from the lottery to champion in 3 years, and we're seeing champions getting knocked out in the first round the very next year. Or the second round, the very next year. I mean, no one can go back-to-back for almost a decade now. Not quite.
Yeah, well, you know what?
Or even win multiple, not back-to-back, just win multiple.
The Lakers had LeBron for 8 years, and they sucked for the majority of that 8 years.
But they won one title in 8 years, and nobody won two in 8 years. Nobody won two in 8 years.
I don't count the Mickey Mouse title. Okay. I mean, that's just garbage. In the bubble after 3 months rest, you have a team full of geezers. You take 3 months off.
So they would have been better if they didn't have LeBron James.
Better win
when they didn't have when LeBron was there. If take LeBron off, LeBron signed at I think it was 33 years old. Yeah. So they would have been better off not signing LeBron.
If you want to call Donovan Mitchell LeBron James,
No, you brought up the Lakers, not us.
And put them in the same conversation as the same type of player.
No, I'm asking with the Lakers. I didn't mention anything about Donovan. Would the Lakers have been better if they didn't sign Donovan or LeBron James?
They had, okay, so let's say LeBron's the right star at the right price. And I'm not a LeBron guy, but I'll listen to it. Yeah, that's fine. He's one of the greatest ever. Sure. Mm-hmm. You have the right star at the right price. But what do you do around that? Well, LeBron spent money on people like Russell Westbrook that took away all their flexibility, and then they traded all of their picks. And then they couldn't get over the hump because they paid the wrong people, and they didn't have the flexibility, and they didn't think.
Yeah, but that's the nature of every team.
They thought all year to year. Well, you know what? There's a lot of bad teams.
Yeah.
As the great Steve-On Smith Sr. once told me, there's a lot of dumb GMs out there.
Sure.
And there's a reason that all these franchises suck all the time because they're horribly run. And so the point is,
who's well run?
Well, the Spurs historically have been pretty well run.
Yeah, and they're going to come up on it in a couple years too. They're going to have to get rid of guys because they're going to give max contracts. You don't want to give max contracts to maybe 2 or 3 players in the league?
Super max, yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. And you know what? Donovan ain't one of them. So why would you do it?
Because you make your team worse without him.
I think in this era.
In the short term, bro.
Whatever term.
In this era, I think that I've always said historically there's only 2 or 3 teams going into the season. I'd take 2 or 3 teams and I'll give you the field and I'll win most of the time. But in this era, it's branched out to 6 or 8. I think the Knicks, the current champs, are a great example. Do I think they're an awesome, legendary team? No. I think what you have to do is get into the top 6 or 8 teams and hope things break your way. They were in the easier conference. They had the easier path. They played great basketball and they stayed healthy and they caught some breaks and they cashed in. And that's what Cleveland's got to do. They've got to find some people who are cheap. To your point, he's getting an enormous percentage of the salary cap. So they got to get people on the cheap. And whether that's draft picks or role guys who fit exactly the right role.
The Knicks got lucky. They beat a crappy Cleveland team whose best player is Donovan Mitchell, who obviously, by Jake Scott's acknowledgement, is highly overrated. And then they got Wemby when he's 22 years old.
Well said about the Cavs. That's
they were super. I think the
Knicks championship doesn't really count.
It does count.
Hey,
they all count. They all count. And I get why people want to rain on the Mickey Mouse title in Orlando, but if the Jazz had won it, nobody would ever say that here. Whoever won it was going to think that was awesome, and everybody else is going to go, Phil was right. That's not a real title. I mean, that's how that always works.
Well, it's not a real title, and that's fine. I don't know what would have happened if the Jazz would have won. Probably cynical me would have said the same thing.
Yeah. Is Joe Gibbs an NFL coaching legend, yes or no?
Well,
just wait for
I'd say more of a NASCAR legend. Right?
You're right, and NASCAR's a great second chapter. But everyone would say, yes, he's an NFL legend. And you know what he did? He won his first 2 Super Bowls in years that one year I think they played 8 games because of labor problems. Another year, they used the scabs, the backups, the rejects, whoever was available for 3 games and counted them and still didn't play a full schedule. And he won that year, and nobody cares in the long run. He's Joe Gibbs. He's a legend. Nobody cares about that.
Oh, awesome, David. Keep going. You're good at this game.
Donovan Mitchell makes the Cavs better. Without Donovan Mitchell, he makes the team worse.
Yep. Okay. It depends on what you can get for him and what you can do with that. I mean, it's moving the pieces around the board.
But who are you going to get for him that's going to make you better?
I don't know. PK, you once clowned me for suggesting the Jazz trade for George Hill. You remember that? I got dragged up and down the radio for forever.
I don't remember that either.
Later, 6 months later, they trade for George Hill.
And
George
why?
Hill
He didn't win him anything. What a waste!
So let's go down the trade tracker. What they can get for Donovan Mitchell.
I think you have
they something better than Paul George.
I think you've done a good job for taking. You've done a job. Actually, PK should applaud you off the air. I think you have the weaker argument
here.
I bought
him dinner.
You're on the road. You're getting it reimbursed. You've got the weaker argument, but you've gone with a strong point that he gets too big a percentage of the cap for what he provides on the floor.
They all do.
That's exactly it. So what becomes a winner in the NBA, what Austin Ainge and everybody over the Jazz has to do, just as the other 29 teams, you're going to overpay your best player. And I think it's easy to argue the Jazz have two players that are overpaid. We can argue 5, 10, 15 million bucks, whatever it is. So you've got to have players who are outperforming their number also, right?
Yeah. Well,
part of the Knicks thing is Jalen Brunson took less money and he outperformed his number. Now, I could argue that Cat did not outperform his number, but they had to pay it because they had to have what Towns provided. They had to have it, and they got it, and they won. And so, did they overpay Towns? Yeah, I think they probably did. But they were able to underpay Brunson. Now, when Brunson wants to be paid next time, I think they're going to be in trouble. But they're going to have to pay it, and they're going to have to find other guys on the roster who outperform their number, and that's why everybody wants a rookie, someone on a rookie deal, because those numbers could be outperformed. They tend to be lower numbers. And the Spurs had guys outperforming their numbers. And so look where they got there. But the Knicks are lucky the Spurs took down the Thunder because the Knicks have a history of not being able to beat the Thunder.
And the Thunder
so you need a break.
2 starters.
And the Thunder, absolutely. The Thunder lost a starter and a key role player. And that, in a 7-game series, that's just enough for the Spurs to squeak by, which is what the Knicks needed. But I think that's how you win going forward. The thought that you're going to put together a dominant team, pay everybody, and win 2 in a row or 2 in 3 years or 3 in 4 or whatever, what the Warriors and the Spurs and the Lakers have done in the last 25 years, I think these salary cap rules make that hard. So everybody is going to have to overpay somebody and then get a little lucky. I think that's what the last 8 years have been. How else did Toronto win it? They got a little lucky. The Warriors had injuries, and Toronto got one. Good for them.
Yeah, and in the Lakers' case, it took a pandemic and shut it down for 3 months and no travel.
I thought Denver.
The Bucks threatening to leave.
Yep.
Massive protests. That's what it took to get LeBron a title in LA.
I thought Denver had it set up to win multiple, and they've had to pull it apart because of money.
Well, they paid the wrong guy. That's my point. They paid.
But who was the right guy?
Now in Brooklyn, they paid.
Who was the right guy?
You know what? Hey, don't fall in love with your own guy. That's cost the Jazz in the past. I brought this up with PK. They fell in love with Larry. Fell in love with Andre Karolinko. They maxed him out. It topped out that team before it even got started. You don't get your arm twisted by the dang sponsors. I can't believe you guys are so concerned about Cleveland's sponsorship team.
Because it's not your money. I can see why you'd blow that off.
I know. I think all these general managers are sitting there with the owner breathing down their neck, and I think it's in every salary cap league. And
the best general managers ignore that stuff and make the best moves for the basketball team. That's what the best GMs do. So
it takes the owner. It takes the owner that the Warriors had to say, "I'm going to pay that. I'm just going to pay
GMs?
The guy was the owner.
He'll go Sam Presti, and Sam Presti is going to already max deal to Chet Holmgren. It's what they do.
And Sam Presti traded hard because the owner made him, and he broke the last group up before they got going because the money matters, and that's what the owners want.
And the rookie max extension and a super max contract for a veteran are not the same thing. Yeah, they're going to pay the price for that Holmgren contract. I totally agree. And Sam Presti ain't perfect. But people hear max and think it's all the same. It is not. A rookie max extension and a super max contract are not the
right,
same
but they're
thing.
all the same in terms of then when it comes available, then you get the steps you go through and how many guys got the rookie max, then follow it up with
the super max.
Yeah, I mean, it's just you got to get there first.
Right. And they will get there and they will pay it.
That's totally beside the point. Yes, I know the process. Thank you. But of what financial flexibility it leaves you and makes it a bigger or not so big mistake.
Right, and then let's wait until Holmgren is ready, and then that is the point. And all these guys who get the super max or even the rookie max, they're way overinflated, but that's the system that sets up. That's the one.
The rookie max, you're paying on potential. Super max, you better be paying a player that's going to get you there.
Yeah, but the thing is,
no guarantee in this.
But now we're back where we started with Boston, because those two guys in Boston have done it. Well, they're not in Boston together anymore, but Tatum and Brown did it. They won the title, and not only that, they made another final, and they were in conference finals a bunch of times. I mean, they made that ownership group, which is now sold, a ton of money. But there's really no way out here, and I think that's part of the reason the Celtics sold. Let's sell high. The only way forward is backwards. It's horrific. We don't want to do it. So they sold. And now the new owners, and to your point, to pay two guys that much money and to pay them, what was it going to be, like 70 or 75% of the cap or something? They're not going to be able to put a team around him. So now the Celtics are getting annihilated for trading Brown, but they had to.
They better get you the title. So the Lakers made a bad decision in signing the guy who many people believe is the GOAT, but he didn't get him a title that counted.
No, again, you're not following. He could have been the right superstar. They paid the wrong guys around him, and they got rid of all their flexibility because they thought nothing but short-term. Nothing but short-term bad moves, which the Jazz, by the way, benefited from multiple times because a desperate team was desperate to please LeBron and made a bunch of stupid errors.
So funny, actually.
You got to have the right superstar, and you got to put the right right people around him.
I wish we all had crystal balls then, because then it would be so easy to figure that out then, but it's not.
That's why this is hard. That's why the NBA is hard.
No,
That's why they make millions of dollars.
It's not.
That's
it's impossible. We're grading front offices against a standard that's no longer possible because of the way the collective bargaining agreement is written. If 0 people can win 2 titles in 8 years and 8 different people win 1, and then we dismiss each of the 8 for being lucky or being stupid for not winning 2, maybe it's just flat out impossible, and you got to reset the standard, because the rules now are different than the rules when the Spurs won 5 or when the Lakers won 3 in a row. The contracts are shorter, and the possibility to pay a player a lot of money is much bigger. And that can put a roster out of whack and make it really hard to / impossible to win a second title. So if we just dismiss one as luck and that's all you can have, then everybody's idiots. Well, I don't think everybody suddenly became idiots.
Well, prayers up for Cleveland sponsorship team. I hope everything goes well for them.
Well, at least if you don't win at all, make money, huh? Sounds pretty good to me.
And have fun along the way.
I hope they succeed. Their bottom line looks good. It's my number one worry in life.
Just like the Jazz. They didn't win anything. What the hell did they sign Malone for? They didn't win anything.
And the Stockton guy, too, for that matter.
Yeah.
And why'd they trade for Hornacek? What was the point?
Trying to win.
Right.
Didn't get there. Trying to win.
Yep. Well, that's what Cleveland's doing. And I'm with you. I wouldn't pick them to win either. But guess what? I didn't pick the Knicks either. I'm accepting that it looks different here. And it's looked different for about 8 years now. It's a new trend, and we need to catch on to it. All right, Jake.
Good times. We'll see how it goes for them.
Jake, I hope we got you wherever you were going.
Way.
Wait, what?
You're a good sport either way.
Oh, no, I love coming on with you guys. I love you guys. It was the worst 2 years of my life producing your show.
Wait, that doesn't line up. Alex is in there. What am I getting into?
In this community, you're supposed to say it's the best 2 years of your life.
Oh, man, no. It had nothing to do with you two guys. It had everything to do with, I was, 23 right out of college, getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning with 3 roommates that weren't going to bed until 4 o'clock in the morning. It wasn't ideal.
When we come back, what is trending? The headlines are next.
Evening. Buyer's remorse. Buy a new car? I'll be moving in. Let's get started.
Sorry, I think there's been a mistake. I bought it from Carvana.
You what?
Yeah, great price. I even have 7 days to love it or return it.
So there's no...
No buyer's remorse. More like buyer's rejoice.
I guess I'll let myself out. Congratulations. I mean it.
Buyer's rejoice. Buy your car today on Carvana.
Limitations and exclusions may apply. See our 7-day return policy at Carvana.com.
It's time to get your morning started with the news you need to know.
News update.
This is what's trending with DJ and PK. Hashtag NBA.
The Utah Jazz lose to the Clippers in their second Las Vegas Summer League game. They're beaten 104-82. It all got away in the third quarter, but that doesn't matter. What everyone cares about is how do the kids look? Darren Peterson, 23 points, 6 of 18 shooting. Only 2 turnovers is the positive. Another 6 of 18, the negative. One big old dunk going to the hoop that I got everybody all sorts of fired up, PK.
That's the negative?
The negative was the 6 of 18 shooting.
Nah. There are no kids. It's only kid.
Kid. Don't even care about Ace Bailey right now.
He played 8 minutes or so.
Yeah.
And your guy, Cody Williams, I told you.
Not getting there. My guy?
Yeah, you were arguing that he would be in the rotation. He ain't going to be in the rotation.
Not even going to be able to make the rotation on nights when they're shorthanded. He's out of here. It's a whiff draft pick.
I'll say it again if you want me to.
You'll probably have to, but you don't have to do it right now. AJ DeBot's also a 23-point night as the Wizards down the Sacramento Kings.
And I hope I'm very much wrong on Cody.
Spurs star Victor Wembanyama, 5 years, $252 million extension. He did not take the full amount of $303 that he was eligible for. Wanted to allow more roster flexibility, so he left $51 million on the table for the Spurs to work with. That has already upset the Players Association. The second apron's got to go. It's having limiting effects nobody likes. Give them something to argue about in the next labor talks.
When's that?
I don't know.
Let me know.
I think they just wrapped one up, so I think they got a little bit now.
Okay. I think that you shouldn't be criticized for trying to win as many games as you want.
Right.
I mean, the league criticizes you for load management, and then when teams and ownership want to win as much as they want, they can't.
And there's the rub.
It don't make no sense to me. That's a contradiction.
We want you to play every game, take all the money, and win all the time. And go. Do not deviate from that plan.
Yeah. Second apron. What is that? Fans don't care about that. This is an entertainment product.
Right. Fans don't care about that until the player they like or the piece of the puzzle they think their team needs goes away.
Right.
Then they care.
Right. Well, they don't care that teams get penalized. They never care.
No, they do not care.
That's what I'm saying.
They don't care about the owner spending more money.
Right.
Go ahead, write a bigger check.
So they never care. And they never care about it. They don't care who spends what. They want their team to win. And you punish teams for trying to win? Especially if you've drafted the guy, it doesn't make any sense. And with this concocted draft going forward, we're going to continue to do it. It's outdated.
John Morant telling reporters the trade that sent him to Portland would give him a chance to start fresh and to prove that his bad guy image is a misconception. New home, new team, new organization. I get to show the fans in Portland a different job. Over the years, I've grown a lot and learned a lot. My mindset changed. I go into things differently now. I feel more mature, and I'm ready to work.
All right, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, man. You're saying all the right things. Now go show it.
That was exactly what I thought when I heard that quote. Saying all the right things. Now follow through with it in Portland.
Everybody deserves a chance to grow up. Hopefully his father can too.
And in Portland, they will obsess about a new arena and keeping the team. Miami Heat. Forward Bam Adebayo allegedly hitting former Miami teammate Tyler Hero Friday. The altercation occurred at a practice court in a Vegas hotel. According to reports, it started when Adebayo approached Hero about comments Hero made critiquing the center on social media after their 7-year run as teammates in Miami. That ended. Hero was traded to Milwaukee in the Giannis deal.
Yeah, you told me he was a forward, then you just told me he was a center.
Yeah, there you go.
Which one is it?
It's a little bit of both. I think of him more as a center. DJ and PK.
#NFL.
The Seattle Seahawks have been sold for an NFL record $9.612 billion. Group led by 49ers limited partner Vinod Khosla has agreed to purchase Seattle. Khosla and his family will relinquish their ownership stake in the 49ers and become the controlling owner of the Seahawks when the deal is approved by NFL owners.
I'm not a big coleslaw guy.
Nice. I see what you did there.
Yeah, that's not my thing.
I wasn't as a kid, but as an adult, I've kind of gotten into it. I like it.
You're an adult?
Well, as close as I'm ever going to get. And they let me drive a car now. So I got that going for me. Free agent wide receiver Stephon Diggs remains unsigned with about 2 weeks to go until training camp begins. He believes he's as good as anyone's secondary wideout option. My opinion, I can compete with anybody. Take those top wide receivers, your ones, right? You can't name a number 2 better than me. Well, then somebody ought to get him. Unless he's, viewed as a headache or unable to stay healthy or any of those things. Or wanting too much money. DJ and PK.
Hashtag college football.
Kyle Whittingham, the longtime veteran of the Michigan Athletic Department. And there's left and right there out of there. Basketball coach just took off. Now the University of Michigan Board of Regents will meet this week to determine the fate of embattled athletic director Ward Manuel. His status is in question as the board will discuss an investigation of the culture around the Michigan Athletic Department. It's been rocked by multiple scandals during Manuel's tenure as AD. Doesn't it feel like dead man walking, PK? There's been so much talk. They're going to make a change.
They've won national titles in football and basketball. What more do you want?
And no scandals.
Can that exist?
Too much power, fame, and money. There will always be scandals. Too big an athletic department.
I mean, what?
So many people.
What level of scandal is enough?
I guess that is what the Michigan Board of Regents will decide this week.
And is that on the AD? Is Brian Santiago or Tom Holmoe or both responsible for what BYU's had the last 2 years?
2 scandals with football players having to go away.
So should that be something that they should be held accountable for? And maybe there's tons of other stuff that I'm unaware of. I mean, but obviously football and basketball are what rock it.
Right.
So maybe there's other stuff. I'm just asking generally. I'm not
I think the answer to your question, which is a good one, that every athletic department has to decide, probably, or every Board of Regents has to decide, probably ranges from athletic department to athletic department. The line probably moves. If we knew everything that was going on at all 300 whatever schools, we'd probably look and say, I wonder why that was okay over there, but over here someone got pushed out. I mean, people get pushed out of jobs all the time. Coaches and ADs are coming and going. DJ and PK.
Hashtag Major League Baseball.
We hit the Major League All-Star break. A couple teams that looked like they were done for have come roaring back to life. The Boston Red Sox on a great run, a 9-game win streak, 9-0 on a road trip for the first time since 1977. They're back within 2 games of 500. And in the AL, they are right in the middle of the wild card hunt now, thanks to that 9-game win streak. And before that, really 3 or 4 really good weeks.
Yeah, I think it's more the wild card thing, adding an extra wild card. That makes it predictable. I think we'll see this every year.
Basically, you have every year, it'll wiggle a little wiggle room, but basically at this point, 5 teams are in, 5 teams are out, and 20 teams are in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, you go... Well,
there's probably only, 4 National League teams out?
So Detroit, which is 8 games under, is 3.5 back.
Right, so they got a chance. So this year, I would say there's 7 teams out. Athletics, Royals, and Angels in the American League. Athletics are 14 games under 500, and they're the best of those 3 teams. And then the Reds, Giants, Mets, and Rockies.
So I don't think this is... I wouldn't count any team out until we get into July.
Because even though I want to say that about the Reds, if they have a 9-game win streak like the like the Red Sox just did, they'd be a game over 500, which would only put them about 3 games out.
Yeah, I think this is just the new world
This is
order.
the new world order for baseball. Yeah. The All-Star break is here. It's Home Run Derby tonight. All-Star game tomorrow night. Netflix has the Home Run Derby tonight.
What a joke.
Going to Netflix. They've got the cash, and baseball wants the cash. MLB draft do anything for you? Some local guys picked. BYU pitcher Garrison Sumner in the 13th round. Crew McChesney in the 17th.
Well, the first kid taken, I think, was out of Utah Valley, and there was also a Utah Tech kid drafted, so that's kind of cool.
Petey Soto Jr. out of Utah Tech in the 18th round. Yeah. Utes had a couple guys picked, so half dozen or so college guys there.
Jake Long, he can bash. I went to a Utah baseball game this year. Check out that new stadium.
Jake Long, go deep.
It's very beautiful stadium.
Bees beat the Sacramento Rivercats 11-8 in their series finale. They get a few days off for the All-Star break as well. DJ and PK. World Cup semifinals are set. France is going to face Spain on Tuesday. England takes on Argentina on Wednesday as England and Argentina both win their quarterfinals. Saturday, Argentina benefiting as the Swiss take the red card and go down to 10 men, and they score 2 goals late in the extra 30 minutes. So they escape again. Still haven't played a team in the top 20, but I guess Switzerland was the first team they played in the top 20. England will be their best test by far. And FIFA's president said they're discussing expanding the tournament to 64 teams in time for the 2030 edition of the tournament. They just went to 48 this year, but a bunch of the teams in the first time performed pretty well. More games equals more money. There you go.
Yeah, my wife, she can play on the Switzerland team.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
And why is that?
Father's Swiss.
Father's Swiss, so
she
she's
had
eligible.
dual citizenship. Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, I couldn't say a word during that game the other night.
Quiet down. The Swiss are trying to figure out how to do this with 10 players.
Means everything.
DJ and PK.
#golf.
Tom Kim wins the Scottish Open by 2 strokes over Moonwoo Lee, by 4 over everybody else. 17 under. Gets his first W in a while. He was clearly thrilled with that. Rory McIlroy provides the highlight of the tournament, getting mic'd as he hits a shot way, way left. I am so bad at golf. Well, on that particular swing, maybe, sure, but went 6 under on the front side and ended up shooting a 64. Not that bad a day. Retired tennis star Marty Fish won his 3rd American Century Golf Championship. He beat former NHL player Joe Pavelski. Golden State Warriors star Steph Curry finished 3rd overall as they played at Lake Tahoe. So, plenty
beautiful, man. I played that course years ago.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, a long time ago when I didn't have the finances that I have now. And went over there, and it was like $100, right? So I got to pay double because my wife's going to play. And I'm excited to play it. You know, I mean, it's a lot of money anytime, but it was more of a lot of money back then, if you understand what I'm saying. And so the guy says, "Hey, you get about a half hour. You want to hit some balls?" Yeah. Okay, $10. What? I said, "I'll pass." You pay that kind of dough, you're figuring the range balls are included. My gosh. But it wasn't included. So
you want to hit some range balls? Pay me more.
I know. Because that year, I think I had turned 30, and we went to Palm Springs. We were living in California and played PGA West, and the balls were included, right?
Yeah.
I don't normally, especially back then, pay that kind of dough.
$100 not exactly your average muni. Where you expect to be charged for golf balls for the range.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Which is why I always sneak a bunch of garbage balls on, and I keep a little sack in my car. Yeah, it was fun to play for sure. And then, so I try to watch that a little bit each year. And so I turned that on Saturday, watched that a little bit. You know, the aerial view of the lake, just gorgeous. Then you flip over one station, and they're playing the Scottish Open, and it's delayed because of fog. And it looks like it's 40 degrees.
When did Sherlock Holmes come walking through to solve the mystery?
Who would want to live there, man? Jeez.
Meanwhile, they put up the hoop, and all the basketball guys are going by, hitting shots, then grabbing the clubs, going back to work.
Yeah. I mean,
how many? Is it just 18 or the 36 holes there? Or is it just the 18 hole? It's just 18.
Yeah.
Okay.
As far as I know.
Yeah.
Unless they built a new one.
Yeah, I didn't know. I figured you'd been there, so I didn't know how big a complex it was.
I've been to Tahoe a ton of times.
All right, DJ PK, that's what's going on. Brought to you by Shamrock Plumbing. There's no job too big or too small. Get the personal touch with Shamrock Plumbing. Mitch Harper back from Big 12 Media Days. BYU insider for KSL Sports will join us coming up at 8 o'clock. We'll talk with him. Chandler Holt, Jazz insider, is still in Las Vegas for KSL Sports. We'll talk with him coming up at 9 o'clock. And it is Open Championship week. Scottish Open in the books. Here comes the British Open. The Copper Rock Open Championship begins today. We'll be assigning golfers every hour. Be ready to dial. The winner's going to get a Copper Rock branded polo, outerwear piece, hat, and a $100 gas gift card. Brought to you by Copper Rock, where the pros play. So plenty of gear and free gas from Copper Rock. DJ PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
3, 2, 1. This is Scotty G and Coach Tim LaCombe.
Nobody cares about the score. Washington did beat the Jazz 92-88. AJ DeBonsa, his first game in Summer League, had some moments. Darren Peterson still put up the points, but not quite at the level and quite the efficiency that we saw in the 2 games in Salt Lake City. So everybody out there is like, oh, AJ won that head-to-head battle.
You've got to remove loyalty, which is hard to do. And I think in this case, there's a lot of people that are torn in this valley because, one guy, AJ, played here locally, and then obviously Darren being picked. So I just actually sat back like a coach would sit back, and I watched it, and I think what AJ showed is what AJ can do. Basically, on one end, AJ was kind of being AJ, and on the other end, Washington was hell-bent on not even letting him get a catch.
Catch Scotty G and Coach weekdays from 10 to 2. Presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Queen Carvania stood haloed by the morning sun. An army hung on her every word.
My champions, I have sold my chariot on Carvana. 'Twas a lovely SUV, an inexplicably queenly offer. They're even coming to the castle to collect it. Tonight, we feast.
An offer you can feast on. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
The KSL Sports Zone and Beehive Meals are honoring people that impact youth sports in our communities. Nominate the youth sports volunteer you know for the Beehive Meals Hero of the Week at KSLSports.com/contest. And listen every Thursday afternoon to Jake and Ben for the winner. It's the Beehive Meals Hero of the Week. Question of the morning. Caleb Wilson, the number 4 pick in the draft, scored 35 points. He made 7 3-pointers for the Bulls Summer League team in his first game in 5 months. He'd been out with a broken wrist. Is it too early? It is too early for buyer's remorse, right? It is. Tell me that is so.
Maybe not.
Randy, come on, man. After one Summer League game, he could very well end up being great, but nobody in the top 4 picks will have buyer's remorse. This was just a great draft class.
You don't know that, man. That sounds good.
It does sound good, but usually somebody in the top 4 has buyer's remorse. What are the odds all 4 guys are going to hit? Seems pretty slim. Something will go wrong for somebody. What that will be, what that'll look like, who the heck knows? Could be injuries. Could just be bad play.
This is all about three-point shooting is what we're told, man. You got to be able to hit a three-pointer. DeBonsa's 1 of 11 so far in his 2 games from 3. I think he's 12 of 22 otherwise. But 1 of 11, that ain't going to work.
That was melodic.
Well, it's the truth, man.
Bill said, I heard the criticism was he had no range. I guess that's been answered.
And he's 6'10", and obviously he didn't get an opportunity to play in the NCAA tournament and all those times when pressure really mounts. He was injured, unfortunately for him. And, would have that have made a difference if he would have had a sensational tournament run? We've seen guys get drafted higher based on tournament stuff. A little dangerous to do that, to go strictly on a 2 or 3 week basis, but they get hot and all that stuff, and those things can happen. And, what do you do in those possibilities there where it's so intriguing, but yet they don't have any staying power and they wash out? Or Wilson is just, man, he was going to be great, and he's 6'10", and he can shoot like that. That's a commodity right there. There's no question that's a commodity, especially if you believe that three-point shooting is where it's at for so many of these teams and players and analytic dudes who never watch games. You don't blame me.
I read the quote. I thought of you when I saw it. Unnamed Eastern Conference scout.
Yeah.
Do they even watch the games?
Right. So he goes out there and just lights it up. And the game meant something special for him because he hadn't played in so long. None of these other guys had missed. You know, when it was their time to play, they played in the tournament. And you can say Peterson didn't play as much. We understand that. But he played some more down the stretch. And it wasn't a big-time injury where it was going to take a long time for him with those cramping situations that he had and issues. But for Wilson, obviously, man, no one's going to doubt that the kid was injured, couldn't play, blah, blah, blah. We all understand that. So you could tell he had a little more emotion going into it because it was his first time after returning from an injury. And I don't know his history. Usually when you're young, you don't have that many injuries, so maybe he hadn't had it, and it's the first time the game was taken away from him because of that. A significant one, no less. And, coach ends up getting fired over there. Could that have made a difference? Possibly. Who knows? So a lot of things were going into it there. The guy that recruited him gets canned, and they bring in little Mikey Malone, son of Brendan Malone, former NBA coach. Shocking. So he had it. Clearly that game meant something more to him.
He had a lot to prove, and he had a lot of emotion, and he had 5 months to psych himself up for it.
Yeah, and if he could shoot like that, wow. There's no way that in 3 or 4 or 5 years, whenever you want to look at the draft, everything is going to fall exactly in order.
Because that's not how the draft works. Scott says he had no assists, but it's very impressive. All 4 of the top 4 picks are rookie sensations.
Remains to be seen if they are.
And the no assists, when you're you and you're the number 4 pick in the draft and you're on a summer league team, keep shooting.
Well, assists. You're playing with guys who aren't going to be in the NBA.
Yeah. Right. So, number 1, you don't have to pass to them. And number 2, if you throw them a great pass, do they pass up the shot? Do they miss the shot?
Right.
Do they get fouled when they're taking the shot?
I know everybody loves anti-vaxxer, but assists are the most overrated stat there are.
Right next to steals. Steals 1, assist 2. Gambling and getting out of position on the steal.
I mean, to me, you're a defensive player. If you're a good defensive player, doesn't necessarily mean you gambled. Now, that's to take away nothing from Stockton because he was awesome.
Stockton would say that about steals. He did say that about steals. Got to be careful with those. Some of them are team-oriented plays, but some of them can be really selfish plays to put your team in a bad spot. Just depends. You have to analyze each one.
I would love to see Stockton play today. It'd be so fun to see him shoot 48% from 3 and score 27 points a game.
John, shoot more.
Yeah. Oh, man, when you make that kind of high percentage, which I have no doubt he would have made it, have that opportunity. He would have had fewer assists, but far more points with the three-point shooting, and you got to take it. You just must. The game will cease to exist if you don't jack up threes.
The game will cease to exist. Basketball
As
will go
we know
away,
it.
replaced by team handball and dodgeball.
Replaced by not play your sport, man.
Soccer.
He immediately goes to that.
Brian says, what about John Tonje, whom the Jazz drafted last year and cut loose? He had 20 points, 5 boards, 2 assists, 3 steals, 5 threes on 5 of 9 shooting. Secured the win with a game-winning steal and slam dunk in OT. Maybe the Jazz should have given him a longer look.
Not 6'10".
Well, there's that. The size combined with the talent is awfully imposing.
Yeah. 6'10" guys don't normally get their shots blocked or even impeded from that distance. That's what really floats your boat there is the size.
Somebody defends you and you just shoot over them.
And if he has that shooting ability, yeah, that's what's exciting. 100% would be that great size. If you have that shooting ability with that size, wow, that's something to behold, no doubt about it.
Ryan says, I still think the Jazz got the best player in the draft, but if I were picking, I'd pick Caleb Wilson second. I think he's phenomenal. The biggest knock on him had been his shooting. Last night's performance suggests he could shoot 35% from three. If he can, tightens up his hand a little bit, in addition to all the other things he does, he'll be an absolute monster.
Well, I don't understand that. They got the best player in the draft, but if I was drafting second, I would have taken the second best player.
No, I think he's saying that Caleb Wilson is the second best player.
Okay.
I would pick Caleb Wilson second. He says the Jazz got the best player. I think he says if he got to pick them all.
didn't take the best player.
That's what he's saying, is that to him, then he's going to have DeBonce and Boozer 3-4 in some order. That's how I took that.
Yeah. DeBonce fire away in the summer. It doesn't matter. But I'd be very judicious with him in the regular season, or most especially in the playoffs. If they'll get to the playoffs. They'll play on a playoff team at some point. If not this year, next year, whenever. Because it's not his game. But he's so awesome on the other stuff.
All these guys are getting a lot of shots now. Now, depending on your team, you got enough veterans. With the Wizards and the Jazz, you can see there's other guys on both those rosters who are going to get shots. So I don't know that we're going to see these guys launching 18 shots a game. I'd bet against it.
Why not, if they're the best player?
I don't think they're going to be the best player. I think the shots will get spread around. But in any given night, they might be the best player, and maybe they will. Maybe they'll just take off, and by midseason, they'll be flying. And they will get their 15 to 20 shots a game.
I mean, if you're worthy of taking the shots, take the shots. And, I don't care how old you are.
Mickey dismisses all of this. One game is a small sample size, and one summer league game at that. So Mickey is not hopping on the hype train.
Yeah, but I think it's more than that. How many games did he play in college? How many times did you see him on the summer circuit? It's not one game. It's just a higher profile game, but it's not one game.
They got a huge rep before they ever arrive in Vegas.
Yeah.
Bill, my prediction has been a Bulls-Jazz finals rematch in 2032. So Caleb balling out fits the timeline. Smiley face emoji. 6 years away.
6 years.
These guys are 25, and they're taking over the league. 24, yeah. I guess, in the case of Boozer.
I mean, it's impossible to figure out what the league is going to look like at that point, but those guys would be far enough. If you're in your sixth year, it really doesn't matter if you're 25, 24, 28, and you've gotten the time to develop, which we anticipate all these youngsters being able to do. You should have a good read on where they're at that point. That seems to me like that's enough time, given the fact that they have the opportunity to be prominent players. If you want to go this year, okay, because they're rookies, you got to feel it out a little bit, and you got some vets there. You'll always have vets. Every rookie who joins the league will join a team that has vets, some better than others, obviously, but that ought to flush out as you get fourth, fifth season, I would think.
Yes, I think that does
Doesn't mean you
out.
Can't still be developing, but you also should mean that you've got it going on as far as who you're going to be, or you're showing significant promise and potential, and it's more than potential. It's actually there's cashing in and a realization rather than potential. You can still develop, I understand that, but I think that by the time these guys are at 25, particularly at the top of the draft, when they demand time and because of their talent, they won't be brought along slow beyond the first year, beyond the second year. So we're tripling that. We're going into the sixth year. I have no idea if the Jazz and Bulls are going to play each other in the finals, but the point is we're trying to extrapolate and see where they'll be. Wherever they'll be, there's enough time to get there at that point.
Many, many things can happen, and we'll have to see what happens to Spurs between now and then. Is Victor Wembanyama really going to dominate the league no matter what? Is he always going to be taking less money to put more players around him? And there'll be other teams that rise up. I mean, you can look at it every year and then go back and look at the standings 3 years earlier, and the teams that are on top tend to go down, and the teams that are at the bottom tend to have come up. So
he's a star. That's great, but he didn't dominate this year. So I'm not anointing him some dominator. He's not a dominator.
The dominator.
Not even. To me, it's not even close. He's got a long way to go. He's taking cheap shots. He's pouting.
He's elbowed a lot of guys in the head.
Yeah,
and
he wants to shoot
that.
20-footers, 18-footers with the literal finals game on the line.
Which every coach has to be thinking, at least he's not dunking on us.
I can get 10 guys to do that. What do you want to be? You might as well be 6'4". Your height played no advantage at that point. So I'm not sure he's capable of dominating. Maybe he will. But he didn't prove it this year, and this year is not a case-closed situation on the other hand either. He'll have plenty of time to develop himself and get better also. He's got a lot of physical advantages, and he had a nice season for sure. But in the final, against the Knicks, obviously, that doesn't have a real dominant defensive big man, he did all right. But let that team develop too. And maybe at that point in 3 to 4 years, the team is developed, and a Dylan Harper or whomever it might be with other guys, Wembanyama doesn't not need to be the dominant force every single time with the game on the line in order for that team to win. Even Jordan didn't do it every single time, but you had to have 8 guys on him.
Nobody does it every single time, and you get a couple guys who are really awesome. It's a little bit like you going to the track to watch the horse race when you're in 6th grade or whatever. Somebody looks really good 2 furlongs in, but at a half mile, another horse is in the lead and looks good, and that could be the way these guys develop. Shaq and Duncan passed titles back and forth. Magic and Bird passed MVPs and titles back and forth. If you take a snapshot any one year, you think this player or that, but over the course of the career, everybody's piling up MVPs and everybody's piling up championships. And then you finally get to the end and you pick one guy or the other. But along the way, plenty of highs.
Yeah, and Big Vic may have that, but he's got a lot to prove. I'm not anointing him anything. No one has anointed anything.
You got to do it.
Simply earned. Everybody who's ever done whatever has got there through one way, work and production. It's the only way to do it. And we'll see what he can do.
There are people dismissing this whole conversation. John, WTF are you talking about? One summer league game.
Yeah, again, it's not one summer league game. It's a snapshot of the most recent game.
Trent, summer league. We're not even talking about a real game. We're talking about summer league.
We're talking about shooting.
That is what we're talking about.
And shooting and I'm told points. 3-pointers really, really, really matter. And shooting is shooting. You can go to the park, and if you can shoot, you can shoot. And if this kid is going to shoot of this caliber, then maybe he should have gone higher. This is taking away from nobody else. I mean, no one's taking anything away from Olajuwon, but a Jordan should have gone 1.
Clearly.
Yeah, that doesn't take away from Akeem the Dream or Hakeem the Dream.
His 2 titles could have gone second, his Hall of Fame career.
You'd be ecstatic to get a player like that, but that doesn't mean he should have gone number 1.
And as you said earlier, it seems super unlikely that these 4 were taken in the correct order.
Yeah.
So who missed?
We're certainly not downgrading anyone that was taken above him, but that's the fun part of the basketball draft, you know? No one's looking at, we got to wait years in the draft, the baseball draft that was a couple of days this weekend to know, oh, this guy. And plus with baseball, too, you got the signability. They can go to college, blah, blah, blah. You know, they'll see that they're trying to maybe change that, which I'm not sure I'm going to agree with, but we'll see how that plays out, you know? And Mike Trout was drafted 28th. Because there's all with baseball and in the NBA, it's all slotted what you can get basically, and it's a free for all in the MLB. So you got to factor that stuff in, and what do they want? What do you've got available? Blah blah blah. But nobody really does that in basketball. We do it all the time. It's fun. Go back, and especially now with the computer, you can just fire up your phone. Yeah, I want to see what the 2007 draft is, just to randomly pick a draft. And who made it, who didn't, who should have been drafted higher, blah, 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 on and on and on.
Yeah, and the top 4 aren't going to go in order.
Yeah, and it's fun to do. So all you people who are criticizing, you can just go to HE Double Toothpicks. The way I see it. There's one thing I wanted to add to this, man. Keontae George, the guy's just turning into an old man with his maturity. They did that in-game interview. He's really got it locked down. Everything he says,
saying the right things,
is so impressive.
Having the right attitude.
Yeah. And it's not about me. He's naming 5-6 guys on the team. What he's doing to improve and all that sort of stuff. And maybe that's just his natural progression as a human being and as a young man growing up and seeing the big picture. But if I'm Jazz management, and I got to say, man, if every time I listen to him do these public interviews, he just really seems like his head is on straight and he knows where it's going and what it takes to get there. And that's exciting. If I'm a fan of this team, which to an extent I am, that really excites me. Every time you hear him talk, you just think, that's what I want to hear.
Yeah, the only thing I disagree with there is natural progression. I don't think it is a natural progression, and I think that's why it's so impressive. I think that's why it's catching not just your ear, your eye, and your ear, which it is, but I think it's catching other people too, because that's not always what you hear. There can be more me, and sometimes I think that's justifiable. But I think when you hear a young player, it catches your ear and eye because there have to be people to have a winning team and winning organization. There have to be leaders who have that attitude and who say those things, who observe those things and say those things and act on those things, or you don't have the complete group. Somebody has to be the grown-up in the room and observe all that. And sometimes there's got to be somebody who isn't like that, who is about me, and I'm going to go get a shot. I mean, Jordan was a weird mix of both of those things. But, when he was smacking teammates, when he was popping Steve Kerr or whoever, or not even necessarily hitting, but just intimidating his teammates, he wasn't that guy. There had to be someone in the room that had that attitude.
Yeah, but knowing what we know of Kerr, didn't he deserve to get smacked?
I think the answer to that is no, because even in Jordan's own retelling, in his own documentary, he's like, yeah, that was wrong. Give me the phone number. I got to call him.
He had it coming.
I'm hitting you in advance.
He had it coming.
I'm hitting you in advance for 2024.
And then it paid off. And he made the game-winning shot because he knew, I don't want to get punched in the face again. All right? So, I think Jordan, I think he was right.
I think it's an unusual level of maturity for somebody that age, and something that we definitely, I know I would absolutely not have bet on this, on Keontae, watching him his first 2 years in the league. And then, man, flip the switch, whole new attitude. So, to me, it's not so much a natural progression. That's something specific he worked on with somebody, and the whole mental health thing. And it's not just that, though. And it's also whoever is advising him, whoever he's talking to, he's got a development coach, whatever older players he turns to. Like, he's turned to the right people, but he deserves credit for absorbing it and being able to put it back. Because sometimes people say stuff like that, and you can hear people like, well, they're trying to say the right thing, but they're kind of messing this up. Or they're trying to suck up to somebody, but it sounded genuine coming from him. And you have a finely tuned BS meter. You really do. It's one of your best qualities. So when this kind of stuff resonates with you, I really think he's really in the right groove. He's really on point. Because you would come in here otherwise and you'd be like, oh, come on, please. There was a time, it was probably when Yak was just starting, or maybe it was when Yak was still listening to high school. It was a while ago. There were like 3 or 4 years in a row until this group of guys really gets along. You're like, what is going on in the locker room? You were selling that really hard. This group is really going to get along.
Now Duff protests too much.
Yeah, you told us the last group was going to get along. I don't know when that was. It's like 2008, 10, 12, somewhere in there. I don't know. It was a long time ago. And you were. I remember hearing that and thinking, what is going on? And you literally walked in the next morning. What is going on? Why are we getting sold this again? So the fact that this is landing the way it lands with you, and it's not just you, it's landing this way with other people too. But that speaks well, and it's the kind of thing that should excite people because you need the tangible stuff. You need the 6'10" guy who can shoot it. In this case, 7 foot. With Markkanen and with Jackson. But you also need the guys who get the leadership, the guys who are going to be good role players. You need the whole thing. You can't just ride one star player to a championship.
Right.
All right, DJ and PK. It's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. It is the week of the Open Championship. See, this is an individual sport. You can ride one player to a championship, and maybe it'll be the player we give away right now. Caller 12, 801-575-ZONE will be assigned a golfer in the Open Championship. We're giving away the top 25 players, and one player gets the field on our show every hour all day long. We'll be giving away a golfer here on the station today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. The winner will win Copper Rock branded gear, polo, outerwear piece, hat, plus a $100 gift card for a guest. So it's all brought to you by Copper Rock. You can't beat that. Where the pros play. Call now. 801-575-ZONE. And we will, 801-575-ZONE. And caller 12 will get hooked up and be qualified. DJ and PK. More in a moment. Mitch Harper, BYU Insider for KSL Sports at the top of the hour. Coming up next, the one thing that went wrong that we all had to endure. Stay with us.
Welcome to This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson.
Covering the Jazz for the Deseret News, she is Sarah Todd. I don't think Jackson Hayes is the solution. Nurk, I'm not sure if he's the solution either. What do you think the Jazz do as far as center going forward?
None of that is going to be a solution long term, right? But anybody that thinks that the Jazz going into this particular season being a legitimate title contender, that's not realistic. It doesn't have to be that the Jazz have their perfect center for the timeline for this team right now. This Jazz team needs to be able to prove as constructed that they're able to win games. The expectation is still you make the playoffs, you definitely need to be a play-in team like at worst. Yeah, down the road, the center position is going to need to be fortified a little bit, but that can happen over the next few years kind of as they ramp their way up through the Western Conference.
Catch Jake and Ben afternoons from 2 to 6 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Join Scotty G and the coach, Tim Lacombe, Wednesday 10 to 2. They're going to be at Bar Dub Grill off exit 222 in Nephi. Question of the morning. How are you handling this record heat? 109 in Salt Lake City, the hottest day since they started keeping temperatures in 1874. Nick, got the Utah County City Baseball Tournament this week. 4 games on Monday.
That's today.
Jay, this heat's not so bad.
Today.
Yeah. Jay says the heat's not so bad. I umpired 6 men's softball games Saturday, and it was only 115 on the infield. I love the heat.
Yeah, okay, but you do not have the gear on as a softball umpire. It's a little easier there. I used to umpire baseball, youth baseball.
Big old chest protector inside your shirt?
Yeah. And it was games that start at 4 or 5 o'clock, the hottest part of the day in Arizona. That was rough.
When you get hit by the foul tip, how much do you feel it through that chest protector, having never umpired?
Well, my pectoral majors are just that. So.
You forgot about bench day here.
Yeah. So, I mean, most of the time, if I didn't even have time, I didn't wear one. But yeah, I mean, it's hot. There's no doubt about it, man. I went out. My wife's playing in a tournament coming up this week, so we want to go at a course to get she's a little more comfortable with the course.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to name it, but so they get this guy hooked up with us, he's older than I am, and the back nine, and it's warm. I mean, it's like 103, 104. I grew up playing with that. Mm-hmm. I can handle it. It's not ideal, but I can handle it. And the back nine, he says, excuse me, man. If you see me over here breathing hard, I had a heart ablation or something like that. Whatever.
Ooh, ablation.
I mean, you're all into the medical stuff. I knew you would know.
Yep.
So I thought, all I got to do is come close to the word, and you'll fill it in because you worry about that stuff. And so I'm putting on a par 3, and I got about a 20-footer, and he's over there on one knee.
Oh, jeez. I can't focus on this putt if
I
you're
know.
about to keel over, dude.
I know.
It's not that important. And I really want to make the putt, but
I did. I 3-putted, yeah. And it's like, go home, man. We do not want to administer first aid here.
You're not going to get a medal.
It's way hot.
Yeah.
You had this surgery. Is it surgery or some type of medical procedure 3 weeks ago? And he is wheezing, and it's getting progressively, just standing there, leaning over, then on one knee. What's next?
Flat on his back, not breathing, eyes rolling back into his head.
Like, big fella, go home. You're a decent player. It's been fun to play with you, but this is not what we want here. And fortunately, he did quit, but not until the 18th hole. Thinking, it's just too hot. That's okay. If it's too hot, it's too hot. I get it. A buddy and I, we went down a couple years back, and the wives came. We played Black Desert on Saturday or Friday, I forget. And it was pretty warm, so it's in July. And then we want to go to Conestoga, which is a nice course over there in Mesquite, and it 114. And they sent us out, and a guy followed us the whole time, like a marshal. And he would go back and get coattails, come back.
Wow, really?
Yeah, we're the only ones out there. And that was a little warm.
So he's not worried about slow play because there's literally nobody behind you.
He's worried about death.
Wow.
So it was warm. And 109 for here, yeah, man.
Because some of the St. George courses in the summer, they close. It's like the opposite of the freeze thing where they don't open in the morning in some place. Well, here in Utah, northern Utah, because of the freeze and you damage the greens and all that. So they wait till it warms up. But there's courses like, it's 2 o'clock, we're done.
Most courses don't take times after like one.
Yeah.
Or several of them don't. So, yeah, it's pointless. But, yeah, I'm used to it to a degree. And we've gone back in the summers. Like I criticized, we had 3 parents who passed in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why couldn't you pass in January? Make light of what do they call that, gallows humor?
Come down there for a week when it's 69 or 79 degrees instead of when it's 99 or 100.
Still, I don't live there anymore. Yeah. I've gone out. And the courses are much cheaper. Used to have a lot of baseball youth stuff that they do at the spring training sites in May and June. And it's warm, but 109, yeah, that's for up here. That's outrageous. I would imagine people, and you got to be aware of it. When I was a kid, I used to go out running at 4 o'clock just to see if I could do it. But I'm like 18 years old. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, like,
you ever just douse yourself with water before you go so you don't have to sweat and you end up getting dehydrated?
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah. For sure. Yeah. And I would drink and let the water not go all the way in my mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Just go down the
just
front.
Bubble all over. Yeah. Either that or pour it. Dad was saying it's for pouring stuff down the back.
You got to do those types of things. Yeah. It's best to take it easy, especially if you got any type of condition. You shouldn't be doing anything. I mean, I wouldn't go out running now, but I would do it as a kid, just to see how bad it was. Just to see if you can do it.
David says, I died from the heat, and I'm replying to you from the other side. It is much hotter down here.
Well, that's the theory, I don't know. What do you people believe on that stuff?
Yuck.
What? You don't have faith? You don't have beliefs?
Yuck is our Sunday school teacher here.
Well,
That's a long time ago.
That's not my calling anymore.
Really? You're out? Yeah, me
you
too.
Go on Sundays.
Yeah,
I'm not singling down narrowing down a single faith here.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's literal or if it's a metaphor. I'd rather not find out.
Well, I'll let you know.
Can report back to me.
Yeah, okay. I'll send up messages.
Brett says, I'm handling the heat just fine. I had an early hike. I washed the Jeep. I adjusted the sprinklers, and now I'm doom scrolling on Facebook.
Doomed?
Doom scrolling.
What does that mean?
That's how we hit this. You get on Facebook, and you endlessly just keep going from post to post to post to post. And that's how he hit our post and commented on it.
People still do that on Facebook?
Apparently.
I thought Facebook was old news there when it comes to that stuff.
The Heat thing got 22 comments. Something else got 24.
Right,
Last
but you're
week,
not
100.
endlessly scrolling is what I'm saying. I realize you're posting stuff.
Do you think people go, that's interesting. I wonder if most people hit us when they're doom scrolling or if they go check specific people.
I have no clue. I don't do Facebook. I've never done Facebook.
I don't. I do Facebook specifically for work, as do you. And I assume that they're doom scrolling, but I don't know.
Is that a phrase, doom scrolling?
Mm-hmm.
This is the first time I'm hearing of it.
Ed says, I slip and slide in a Speedo.
Nice.
Put the slip and slide out in front lawn. Tell the kids, go get your own slip and slide. Turn the sprinklers on. These are my sprinklers.
Okay. I like it.
Draw a line. For you and I, it's easy, though, because we have access to the ultimate cool down, the ultimate cool zone. All we got to do is put on the long johns, heavy parkas, drive down here to the station, and sit in the studio. Cools you right down. It's perfect.
Not bad in here.
It's in the 60s here this morning. Nice. All right, DJ and PK, Mitch Harper, BYU Insider for KSL Sports, back from the Big 12 Media Days. We'll talk Cougars and Big 12 football with him next. Stay with us.
Evening. Buyer's remorse. Buy a new car? I'll be moving in. Let's get started.
Sorry, I think there's been a mistake. I bought it from Carvana.
You what?
Yeah, great price. I even have 7 days to love it or return it.
So there's no...
No buyer's remorse. More like buyer's rejoice.
I guess I'll let myself out. Congratulations. I mean it.
Buyer's rejoice. Buy your car today on Carvana.
Limitations and exclusions may apply. See our 7-day return policy at Carvana.com.
DJ, PK, and we're joined by Mitch Harper, BYU Insider for KSL Sports. Mitch, good morning. Welcome back from Big 12 Media Days.
Yeah, good morning, guys. Happy to be on with you today.
Mitch, when does BYU do it? When do they just follow in Jerry Jones' footsteps and build their own Ford Center, their own 12,000, 10,000-seat dome? All the high school games in there, Lone Peak on Thursday, Timpview on Friday, a Saturday tripleheader. That's the way they do it in Texas. When does it happen?
It's a great idea. BYU, that's one thing that I've been kind of surprised with BYU is that they've never had their own, football command center similar to what Utah has. They always had that student athlete building for the practice side and football ops, but they kind of need a football operations center, and having their own indoor football facility would be probably great because then you could add revenue. But that seems like something that would probably be on the back page for BYU, especially with facilities now in college sports. It seems like it's all about just finding as much revenue to add it to the rosters.
What's the update on Parker Kingston?
Parker Kingston, nothing's really changed. When that case got dismissed and now he's, a free man, innocent, reached out to BYU for a comment on that, and they had no comment at all. They didn't even decline comment. They just didn't respond. So nothing's really changed on that front, with Parker Kingston. I'd be surprised if, he was at BYU playing football, but no new information on that situation. I think what makes it challenging too is that if he was to ever be back at BYU, that case could be refiled. And I know that the state has said that it would be refiled. And I remember talking to legal analysts with KSL, Greg Skordas. They believe that it was going to be refiled quickly, and it hasn't been refiled yet. But if there was a situation where he's on the team and then it gets refiled, that would be kind of a difficult situation there for BYU. So nothing's really changed on that front. And so right now he's still, no longer part of the university, no longer a student, no longer part of the football team.
He would face honor code sanctions. There had been references to Retzlaff's situation, and we know he had a suspension and chose not to take it and goes to Tulane and plays immediately. It seems like with the threat of possible refiling, that potentially prevents him from playing for anywhere then, right?
Yeah, it would feel like that. And also, too, the ghost transfer rules now with the NCAA that basically kind of got created after the Retzloff situation. And look, any NCAA rule could obviously get an injunction, get thrown in court, and probably get thrown out. But if a school adds someone outside the portal window, because he never entered the portal during the portal window in January, that school could face the head coach being suspended up to 6 games and get a multi-million-dollar fine from the NCAA by adding players outside of the portal window as ghost transfers. And an addition like Kingston, who really good football player last year, that would garner headlines. And then you add in the fact that what he was facing off the field as to what would cause that. I'd be pretty surprised. And again, that refiling element is tricky. And what's difficult too for him, because again, he's an innocent man here on all of this right now, with it being dismissed. This is his 5th year, so the 5-5 potentially wouldn't apply to him because he already used a redshirt year in 2022, and then this would be his 5th year that would then expire his eligibility. So, very, very difficult situation all around.
There's been a lot of talk about what the BYU receiver group looks like now. What does it look like to you right now?
They're going to have to rely on those freshmen to come in and perform at a high level. And, the expectation is that wide receiver 1 is going to be JoJo Phillips going in, but I think that's something that could be a moving target in the season. Someone else could emerge, and maybe it's Kyler Casper, the Oregon transfer, but the wild card in this unit is the freshman, and particularly Legend Glasgow, who will probably take on that Parker Kingston role this year. And he emerged in spring ball as someone that was already trending towards being a starter, and it wouldn't shock me at all if he's starting this season and they expect big things from him. Even Bear Bachmeier at Big 12 Media Day noted that Legend already knows the playbook inside and out, and that's one of the reasons he was getting a lot of first-team snaps in spring ball. So Legend Glasgow, and then, I think the one that really could be interesting is Jaron Pula, the heralded freshman from Lone Peak High School, was once a UCLA commit, then he flipped to Utah, then to BYU. Kind of a long, windy road in the recruiting trail. Those 2 guys in particular, I think they need them to hit instantly this year, because I think that they feel good about, JoJo Phillips and Casper, but those guys to me seem more like, at best maybe a wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 right now. I mean, look, last year at this time, we didn't know about Kingston being potentially a wide receiver 1 type guy, maybe a byproduct of also having Chase Roberts to get a lot of attention. But Kingston emerged and became a star. But they don't have a Roberts or a Kingston anywhere close to that in this receiver unit. And it's a big question for this team. Like the talent's intriguing, but just no one's performed consistently to make you feel confident about wide receiver 1, 2, or 3 heading into fall camp in a few weeks.
You already mentioned 2 or 3 newcomers, one a couple of freshmen, and then a transfer. How about some other new faces?
I think some of the new faces on this team that are going to be interesting. Paki Finau, left tackle for BYU, and he's going to anchor that left tackle spot. And the offensive line is interesting this year because they brought in a bunch of transfers from the transfer portal, and Finau will probably be the most impactful one right away. Some of the other guys, Zach Yamauchi from Stanford, he got injured in spring ball. So he's really never taken many snaps to where you kind of have a point of reference of what he can provide on this O-line. Junior Sia from Utah State was primarily an offensive tackle with the Aggies. He's going to play right guard for BYU, but he's expected to be probably a second-teamer in behind Sonny Mocassini, a returning veteran. And then, BYU's got Paki Finau, who primarily played guard at Washington. He's always been an interior offensive lineman. So he's kicking out to left tackle, and they like him there. But I think going back to the freshman piece with some of the wide receivers, there's intriguing young offensive linemen that in a perfect world would allow for BYU to kick Paki Finau at guard and then have some of these freshmen emerge at offensive tackle, say a Bot Molitalo, who was from Lone Peak, a top 100 recruit, once committed to Oregon, or even a Siosia Latu Finau, who was, heavily recruited by Stanford and Cal, committed to BYU in the 2025 cycle. Guys like that are really talented players that they feel could be talented players potentially. Maybe they emerge as like tackles, but Bot Molitalo is one that I'll be intrigued to see how he continues to develop in fall camp. But Finau is going to be the one that's probably the most impactful newcomer, protecting that blind side for Barrett Bachmeier. But again, I think as far as his best position out along that offensive line, it's a guard, because that's what he's primarily played his whole career. They like him at left tackle, but it's a new position for him. So there's not many game snaps for him at that spot. If you want to get the best 5 possible, which is something that, BYU's staff with A-Rod and TJ Woods have talked about, I think that would be, kind of intriguing to see if that could, kind of materialize where some of those young guys emerge and creates an opportunity for maybe to get that best 5, to get them in their true positions along that offensive line.
All that time at the Star in Dallas, what did you learn about any of these other teams? And is there anybody else you came away really impressed with and thinking they could be good? Or did you come away thinking usual suspects, everybody knew what to think coming in, and we all think the same thing walking out?
I think a team that's going to be, really intriguing that, and maybe PK will appreciate this, but I think Arizona State, I wish there would have been a little bit more of an emphatic victory at the quarterback position with Cutter Boley in that quarterback battle. He's a transfer from Kentucky. But I just really trust Kenny Dillingham that Arizona State is becoming a consistent winner now. I think it kind of gets a little bit overlooked of, how, pretty competitive they were despite a lot of injuries, a lot of, different lineups last season. They still put together, I think it was an 8 or 9 win season on the heels of the playoffs. And look, they still underachieved compared to where people expected them. But, I remember years where, you go to the Rose Bowl with Plummer and then you dip to like 5 and 6 with, Bruce Snyder. That was always kind of like this erratic up and down type of deal with Arizona State. I feel like they're becoming steady. And I think, BYU's steady. Texas Tech's going to be steady with all their recruiting. And Utah's always going to be in the mix. And I think Utah's schedule sets up really well. So I just really like Arizona State. I love their portal class. A guy like Ashton Stamps, so there's some buzz on him, a cornerback from LSU. He's going to be really good for them. I even put him as a first-team All-Big 12 selection on my ballot. But I just like it. I like ASU. I like Dillingham. I think he's ASU's modern-day Frank Kush, and I think that he's going to be I think he's going to continue to win. I mean, he turned down Michigan. Kalani was a huge story last week with the Penn State stuff. I don't think the Dillingham thing with Michigan was as big of a conversation, but, he turned them down. He stays at ASU, and I think they're built to stay the long haul. So it wouldn't shock me if ASU was in the upper tier. I think another team that I'm kind of intrigued by is UCF. I think UCF, because in the old Pac-12, Alex Grinch was a punchline. But actually that defense last year when Scott Frost hired Alex Grinch, the former USC coordinator, who's now at UCF, they were actually pretty good defensively, especially in their pass defense. And I think they'll be good once again with their secondary. And now they've got a competent quarterback, the JMU transfer, Barnett, and I think they got some good running backs as well. UCF, to me, could be kind of intriguing. Maybe they get in that 7 to 8 range, which would be a huge maybe surprise, I think, compared to where people think they're probably in the bottom 4 spots in the league.
Yeah, I think that Dillingham models himself as not the modern version of Frank Kush, the modern version of Kyle Whittingham. And why I say that is because Kyle seemed to always operate best when he was underlooked or overlooked, I guess the expression would be, a little bit, maybe under-respected. And it seems to me that the Devils are kind of right there now. Phil Steele doesn't even have them in their top 45, 50, and guys that do this and really have a lot of name recognition for what their predictions are and we'll see how it plays out. The potential is there. It could be 6-6 or maybe 9-3. We'll see somewhere in between. We'll see what happens. But I think he's kind of laying low in the weeds there, like Kyle did for so many years, and then jumps up and bites you. And I know he's talked openly about modeling his program after Kyle, so we'll see what happens. And we know for BYU, their center's Bruce Mitchell, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Can he play center on the basketball team too?
Seriously, that would be a welcomed addition just to bring some resolution to this roster. But yeah, I mean, BYU, the search continues, and I kind of got the sense it was going to go this direction this late. When I talked to Kevin Young in May at the spring meetings, he basically put it out there that they will wait till the bitter end to get guys. As late as they need to go, that could stretch in October because this market with the centers, I think that they really want to they don't want to just throw money blindly at someone who's just a 7-footer. He's only had two points, 3 rebounds, and because that's what's happened this cycle is that there's been a lot of overpays for guys that have really no production, but they're 7 feet, and programs are overpaying because it would seem that the Final Four schools and all the top level teams, they've got true 7-footers more than ever now. But obviously with the center position, BYU's missed on some guys, and even Kevin Young's noted that some of the players they've been supposedly linked to, maybe not as accurate as what's been put out there, but Kevin Young, I think they will find someone. They have to. And look, I think the last bucket to turn to will be maybe potentially the players that get an injunction with the 5 and 5. Because there's going to have to be some sort of option because they just don't have the personnel enough to feel like you're going to exceed that 6 seed kind of purgatory that they're in. I mean, BYU is good enough to be a 6 seed next year with the roster they've got. And I think the Big 12 is going to be a little bit weaker next season in basketball, at least just kind of way too early forecast on it. But it still feels like if you're going to make a second weekend run, be a top 16 seed, you've got to have some bigs. And outside of Hadim Boop and Adam Stewart, the TCU walk-on transfer who's played like 4 minutes in 2 years, they don't really have it. So it's concerning. Kevin Young, I think he embraces the possibility of creating a lineup that could be, maybe be able to overcome the shortcomings on the front court right now, but they got to add some bigs. And some of these, pursuit of potential reclassified high school guys show that they know they needed at least one center, at least one. I think they probably need 2, but yeah, I just think this is going to continue to stretch on for quite some time. I mean, we might get September and October, and they're still pursuing one till the very bitter end, because that's what really Kevin Young laid out is what they plan to do. They will wait to the bitter end because he feels like there was no rush to have this roster finalized in the summer, because they had that last year, and it kind of fell flat by having the roster all together. So he feels like no rush to get it all finalized right now.
Wait till NBA cutdown day.
That's a great point. Hey, look, watching Summer League, I'm like, maybe there's some guy out there right now that you can bring back to the college ranks. That's how crazy it is these days.
You really think they're a 6 seed without any of the bigs that we assume they're going to add, or that we think they need to add? Because that seemed
shooting will be better.
That seemed pretty high end, even allowing for the shooting to be better, as PK says. 6 seed seemed pretty high end to me. Not that I know anything any more than anybody else, so maybe I'm just too low. But you think 6?
I think they can because Rob Wright, they project him to be the best point guard in college basketball. Look, it's got to play out. But as PK said, I think the shooting will be better. I think Colin Chandler is going to be a great fit. I'm really curious to see what Jake Wallin, the Clemson transfer, formerly of Timpview High, Utah as well. He's someone that I think they're going to – he's kind of an interesting guy where the whole player development piece with Kevin Young, what he did with Richie Saunders. I don't expect Wallin to be a Richie Saunders type jump, but I think that's what gives the optimism for maybe BYU fans and this BYU team that they could be better than expected is because guys like him have been in this Kevin Young program and they have gotten better. Now there are other examples from last year, case in point, where some of these role guys, they just didn't hit any shots, and it was a mess at season's end outside of AJ and Rob Wright. But I just think that there's going to be better chemistry with this team. And I think also too, there's a lot of guys that they wanted to be at BYU beyond just simply, the paycheck or the spotlight of being around an AJ, being around a Rob Wright. They wanted to be at BYU. And, I think the guys that were retained, even like a Hadim Boop, who could be that starting five potentially if we're looking at it right now. They wanted to be at BYU, and Kevin Young really likes Hadim Boop, his aggressiveness on the glass. They even compared him to a Dennis Rodman type player, how he can just absorb rebounds. Kevin Young loves those NBA comps. But I think there's a good maybe camaraderie with this team right now, and I think that the shooting will be better. I think the style of play is going to be a lot more up and down, and that half-second decision-making that Kevin Young loves in those offenses, I think it's going to look a lot more like 2 years ago with spreading that ball around and making Rob Wright a focal point of this team, and then Colin Chandler, as KY notes, the flag bearer of the BYU program and being kind of the face of BYU and what it's all about. So I think they got a nice blend on the roster. And I think, again, having guys that again, want to be at BYU, I think that's important too, and kind of bringing that chemistry together and fast-tracking that for this team going forward in the next year. So I still think their schedule, we know with these advanced metrics sometimes that you get into the Big 12, if you win some home games, protect home court, which is always a good place for BYU, they'll probably be sitting in that top 30 range of predictive ratings, have a competitive non-conference schedule, get a few wins. They'll be right there in that 6 to 8 seed territory. But I think on the high end, they could be a 6 seed still again, because I just think that this team's going to have better offensive firepower than last season.
Mitch, we'll leave it right there for now. We appreciate the time. Thanks for coming on and talking a little football and a little BYU hoops.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Take care.
Mitch Harper, BYU insider for KSL Sports. You can find him on social media. Find him at KSLSports.com and on YouTube as well. A lot of Cougar content out of Mitch. DJ and PK coming up. Chandler Holt, Jazz insider for KSL Sports, will join us at 9 o'clock from Las Vegas. He's down there for the Summer League. And right after the break, we will get another qualifier for the Copper Rock Open Championship giveaway. Be ready to dial after the break right here on The Zone.
Turn it up. Let's go. It's a new era for sports radio in Utah. This is the all-new KSL Sports Zone. As always, DJ and PK kick off your mornings from 6 to 10. Then introducing the newest addition to the KSL Sports Zone. The coach, Tim Lacombe, joins Scotty G every day from 10 to 2. And as you wrap up your day, Jake Scott and Ben Anderson are there with the best sports talk in Utah from 2 to 6. Live and local, all day, every day. Your home for the best sports radio in Utah is live, on air, online, and on the KSL Sports app. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Evening. Buyer's remorse. Buy a new car? I'll be moving in. Let's get started.
Sorry, I think there's been a mistake. I bought it from Carvana.
You what?
Yeah, great price. I even have 7 days to love it or return it.
So there's no...
No buyer's remorse. More like buyer's rejoice.
I guess I'll let myself out. Congratulations. I mean it.
Buyer's rejoice. Buy your car today on Carvana.
Limitations and exclusions may apply. See our 7-day return policy at Carvana.com.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Time for a qualifier for the Copper Rock Open Championship giveaway. Caller 12 right now. 801-575-ZONE. 801-575-ZONE. You'll be assigned a golfer in the Open Championship this week. We're giving away the top 25 players, and somebody will get the field. The winner will win a Copper Rock branded polo, outerwear piece, hat, and a $100 gas gift card. It's all brought to you by Copper Rock, where the pros play.
Copper Rock.
Nice.
You had to co-op that branding.
Thank you, Seeger.
Cover Rock.
Jim Williams, Media DC, has a story out about the Cougars could be the Big 12's top brand soon. Put that up on Facebook, got a little bit of reaction. His basic theory, to boil it down here, he's got a story, is that BYU has had a brand name recognition for 40, 50 years. Really 40 since the
BYU posters on my walls as a kid in New Jersey.
So it's a Supreme Court deregulated football, and everybody started putting games on TV, and BYU had quarterbacks throwing the ball all over the place.
I love Virgil Carter.
That's a little before then. That's more the NCAA era. But going independent, although it was painful at the time, did put BYU in primetime national windows.
I mean, Brother Joseph was just one state over from me.
ABC, ESPN, and ESPN2.
He was.
Jersey to New York. I got it. Yeah.
It was a haul.
And then.
I've made the drive.
Stay on point.
I've made the drive.
And then conference membership. BYU gets into the Big 12. They have all this pub that most G5 teams don't have. They get into a Power 4 league. The money is increasing as they go from a partial share to a full share.
I've been to Palmyra.
And NIL turns loose some entrepreneurs. And here we go. Get ready, Cougar fans. Here's a sentence. No Big 12 school has seen a steeper 2-year rise.
These are halcyonic days.
Wow. Pretending like you didn't know what an oblation was last hour, and now he drops halcyonic, which
Were you like studying the thesaurus down there in Frisco? What were we doing?
I could not spell halcyonic.
HALCYONIC.
Ooh, I probably would have put a bonus C in there. See? Good for you. You advanced the lightning round.
C's there.
And I'm out.
You're starting to get to my GPA.
I know. I'm out. I'm out, Jerry.
Thesaurus. I did say that to Mark Harlan.
Were you the unidentified disembodied voice that was on video but was not tagged?
Oh, like 42 times. Hello, that's me. It's old PK, the old guy in the group. I'm right there. See, that's me. Jeez.
An unidentified individual asked a couple
Scotty
of questions.
and Tim Lacombe, they got all it. What about me? Man, you turn 70 and they forget you.
70,
Number one, you didn't turn 70. Number two, they never knew you.
I didn't say. I said, when you turn 70. I'm just a little premature on the forgottenness.
Well, one day we'll graduate to the main show.
Mark had a shot. He brought up your name, too. We were talking about, I said, I was going to ask him tough questions about, I don't know, Kyle leaving or whatever. I don't even remember. I said, Mark, we got a good relationship and, ease into it. And he said, it's something like, yeah, okay. But I have to make sure I don't use big words because of your ASU background. And I said, yeah, well, you better get a thesaurus so you're able to use them.
Mm-hmm.
And then we laughed, and, we can kid each other like that, and people think he doesn't like me and vice versa, and it's just not true. And then he brought up, well, yeah, after I interrupted DJ, I saw him the next day, and people thought we were angry at each other, and we weren't. And I said, I know. We all get how it works here.
I told him, I don't care.
Yeah.
I wanted the answer. You gave the answer. That was all I wanted. I wanted an answer.
And I think Mark, he doesn't take things personal. He understands that, and I appreciate dealing with him in that regard. But as far as BYU goes, man, these are great times. And, I read that story by Jim Williams. He's an ex-TV executive, I believe. And so he has a lot of credibility in what he says. But, yeah, I mean, the Big 12, and they'll tell you this is no secret, has been the determining factor to put them in the position. And you can say, the money, yeah. But I don't think it's not like these entrepreneurs got rich at the same time they went into the Big 12. It's just the Big 12 opened the platform for them wanting to give money because now you're competing at an extremely high level. And the fact is, the last few years of independence, you were just kind of wandering in the desert, not pointless, but not with a specific direction either.
Well, the playoffs are like a magnet.
Playoffs?
That's the goal. And so if you don't have a path to the playoff, and if you're not playing meaningful games in late October and November,
and they played them in December,
you're going to drop off the radar, which is what was happening at the end of Independence.
Right.
As opposed to it's a magnet now, and it's even bigger because now there's 12 teams, and there is a path. And you are playing big games in October, November, and as you point out, the conference title game last year.
Yeah.
And the year before they tied for it, but then get in the tiebreaker. So this is that. In a weird way, even though Independence felt like a step backwards or sideways, this guy, and he is a TV executive, he sees it like to be in that many homes on that platform, it gets the brand out there. It just gets your name and your logo out there over and over. And you did play some entertaining games and some big games along the way in that era. But combine that with hitting the Power Four and combine that with the enlarged playoff and NIL and the fact they've had a couple of really good teams. They haven't had 3 really good teams, maybe 2.5. They started 5-2, but it fell apart. But they've had 2 really good teams. So you add all that together and you get the trajectory. Now, it is college sports and someone can rip the chair out from underneath you, but it doesn't look like that right now.
Oh, I don't see it, man. I don't know that they would be interested in do that. I think they could expand the football stadium and still sell out. I think demand is extremely high for BYU tickets to go to their football. And then the gift that just keeps paying over and over again is A.J. DiBonsa. I mean, you talk about the brand.
Yep.
And
they sold out of basketball tickets faster this year than they did last year.
Right. And you go and you look at, we often hear, particularly among the minority community, they'll say, hey, there's someone who looks like me can do it. And, I took my daughter when she was younger, Utah women's volleyball. The stars were there. See, hey, these are females. They can do well. DiBonsa, besides the guaranteed name recognition of BYU, it's also, well, man, if A.J. DiBonsa if he's investigating that and then ultimately does it, I should take a look at it too. And we're seeing that. So their brand, I can argue, which has been big, as you say, for a good while, has never been bigger.
Terry wants to shoot this down. BYU is far from a national power. Not even close. Few Mormons reside east of New Mexico. Well, there are definitely some facts in there, Terry. I just don't know how relevant they are.
DiBonsa resided in Massachusetts.
I know. It's like,
that's pretty east of New Mexico.
Does the brand get you? Does the right? If you're, let's just say you're east of New Mexico, okay. But are you going to stay up to watch the game? And are you a 10th grader, rising, who's thinking, hey, my team is going to play there, and I know it's a big game because BYU's been in the mix in that league 2 years in a row. Now am I more likely to stay up and watch that game or choose that game when there's multiple games on? Well, because they've got a brand, they got a little power, and this resonates as a win or lose. This resonates as a big game.
Week 2 of the college football season, I believe, will be between 2 ranked teams. I think there's no question BYU will be ranked. I hope that Arizona's ranked.
Hope/expect?
Maybe more hope than expect.
Okay.
But they deserve it. I've got Fafita. I love the kid. I've been saying it for 2 years now. And that is a 3:30 start East Coast time. So where a large majority of television viewers, and it is a time when usually they're playing Timbuktu State. And now
they don't have mega games on the other stations.
Yeah, you got a huge conference game with a brand name quarterback and BYU, and Bachmeier's in the process of making himself a brand name quarterback for sure. So I think that's out the window.
Arizona BYU is over there on Fox.
Yeah,
and your point.
It's 1:30. I'm going to be there.
CBS is.
You should come.
Mississippi State at Minnesota. Alabama at Kentucky on ABC. Those are not mega games.
Decent, but
they're decent, yeah. But there are times where
BYU's right there.
There are weeks where that time slot is just loaded with awesome games, and you have a pretty good Big 12 game. But the SEC can be playing their game of the day. The Big 10 might be playing their second best game of the day.
And the Cats throw the ball around all over the place, as they should. So it's an
Makes it
exciting
entertaining.
brand of football. And Fafita, he remembered every little play, talking to him last week about last year and how it was heartbreaking. And then what he says really indicative of who this kid is. Yeah, they earned it though, and so he's got tons of family here, Polynesian here in Utah. He spoke about that. He's been on our air twice the last 2 years of Media Day, and so he's going to be jacked up. But yeah, I think that stuff plus virtually every road game east of New Mexico, since that's become the
line. Yeah, right.
It's not at 8:30 Mountain Time.
Well, I think one of the other things is that when you're not in the Mountain West and the WAC, where you're playing a regional schedule, the thing about these national leagues, even though we don't like them, is it pulls in viewers from different parts of the country and extends your brand. And that does it for everybody in the league. If you're good enough for long enough, then in all parts of, you're playing West Virginia, people in West Virginia know, okay, that team's at the top of the league. It goes back to what Mitch was just saying about ASU. Well, they were 7-2. They won the conference title. They were in the playoff. They were in OT with Texas. And even last year when they're down, they're 6-3. If they follow another good year, and there's a lot of moving parts here, and I don't think it's a favorable September schedule, but if they negotiate that, if they're 2-1 after 3 games and they're playing some good football, why not another big year? Why not? Now they could be 1-2 and they get drilled and they come back from Europe exhausted. That's not good.
We'll see.
They get smoked by Texas A&M.
But
so
BYU's already there. They've put together 2 big seasons.
But in Cincinnati and in West Virginia and in Orlando and in Kansas and in Texas, they weren't paying that much attention to the Mountain West and the WAC and Independence. This is different. It is more national.
And the thing about it, there's not that many Latter-day Saints compared to the West. Obviously, we understand that. But basically, you can draw an 8-hour bracket circle around wherever they're playing, and those folks will show up. There's enough of them. I've been on the road with them in places all over the country.
There's a couple games that stick out of my mind that underline that, and they were both in Tennessee. They played Middle Tennessee State, and you're thinking, this is in the early days, like they just had to get 12 games, right? They go independent. Yeah. It was the first couple of years. And I can remember watching that game because I'm cutting highlights for a Saturday night sports show, and I watched that game, and BYU scores.
And you'll be doing that again this Saturday.
And they
Channel 5.
Yes, I will be there.
As your TV career continues, not mine, yours.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
I won't be there Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
All right, to the point. They cut to a shot of Middle Tennessee State, and there's at least 5,000 people in blue and white screaming because they just scored a touchdown. You're like, it's Middle Tennessee State. This game was a foregone conclusion. They had to play it, but people showed up. And then when they played Tennessee and they won, and it was a wild, wild finish, that we've all seen that stadium, and there's a ton of orange in that stadium, and the amount of blue really popped against the orange. It was a contrasting color.
As it went down, it was nuts.
Yeah, it was berserk, and there was no shortage of Cougar fans in the stands.
Larry
for that
King
game
and
screaming.
I in Atlanta, Georgia Tech,
baby.
Larry King and I, the King and I.
Well,
get that?
I just had someone. Reference the show. Do you remember the old show King and I? Looking like, how could I possibly forget?
That's a play or something, right? With Yul Brynner.
Yeah.
The King and I. And it just came to me. Yeah. My genius.
Golden era of
But yet I'm not on TV. I don't know. Whatever.
It's just a matter of time.
Yeah. I'm 70 now.
It's a matter of time and sales.
You're
but you're going to live. You're not 70, and you're going to live to be 100.
I feel it.
Okay.
I'm going to, since we can gamble on everything right now, we're going to have a bet.
Gamble?
We're going to have a bet on whether you, well, not me.
Not gambling.
Not me, because
I don't gamble. I gamble on nothing.
What are we using here?
People will gamble on whether PK outlives Yak.
I'm not going to outlive Yak.
Oh, I don't know. All your 100-year-old relatives.
Yeah, you got Yak dying in his 60s all of a sudden. That's not nice. He's got young kids.
I think Yak's going to make it to his 70s, but you're going to be 104 and just too nasty to die. I can't die now. I've got someone to insult. That draft pick. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
I got insulted big time over the weekend. Hardcore insult. I mean, it hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Get to it.
All right. You want me to talk about something else while you get to it?
Oh, we'll get to it next.
All right, break time. PK with a hardcore insult next. Stay with us.
And now, a look at traffic from the KSL Traffic Center.
Still got some delays. I-15 holding firm at the end of rush hour. Northbound at the point of the mountain, trying to get through 123rd South. Also at the South Interchange. And if you're coming southbound out of Davis County, it obviously backs up through that Rose Park area as you get your way into downtown at this moment. At UTA, it's never just a ride from point A to point B. We move independence. We move purpose. We move memories. We move what matters. That's you. Plan your trip today at rideuta.com. For your KSL traffic update, I'm Jake Hatch right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
3, 2, 1. This is Scotty G and Coach Tim LeCoe.
Nobody cares about the score. Washington did beat the Jazz 92-88. AJ DeBonsa, his first game in Summer League, had some moments. Darren Peterson still put up the points, but not quite at the level and quite the efficiency that we saw in the 2 games in Salt Lake City. So everybody out there is like, oh, AJ won that head-to-head battle.
You've got to remove loyalty, which is hard to do. And I think in this case, there's a lot of people that are torn in this valley because, one guy, AJ, played here locally, and then obviously Darren being picked. So I just actually sat back like a coach would sit back, and I watched it. And I think what AJ showed is what AJ can do. Basically, on one end, AJ was kind of being AJ, and on the other end, Washington was hell-bent on not even letting him get a catch.
Catch Scotty G and Coach weekdays from 10 to 2. Presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Don't miss your chance to win big every week on the KSL Sports Zone. This week, you can win tickets to see, drumroll please, Zach Bryan. Okay. I thought you'd get a bigger response out of that. I thought you liked Zach Bryan.
It's Zach Brown.
Why does it say Zach Bryan?
Because
it is Zach Brown.
No, it's not Zach Brown. There's 2 different people.
Okay.
It is.
Big fans of Zach.
Oh,
yeah.
You like Zach Brown.
Zach
you don't
Brown.
like Zach Bryan.
Yeah,
okay.
You have the Zach Brown Band, and then you have Zach Bryan.
Rice Eccles Stadium, August 7th, KSL Sports Zone, all day Wednesday. Your chance to win.
Those are 2 different people.
You're more Zach Brown.
I am.
Okay.
I've got no problem with Zach Bryan either.
Okay.
My wife likes him a little bit more than I do. So, yeah, fun.
Here comes a story. Somebody trying to hurt PK. Now this, first off, let me just tell you people, bad plan. See, you try to hurt him. You're trying to tear him down because for whatever reason you don't like him. But what you do is you provide him with fodder for the show, which is hilarious, which then makes him an even bigger deal. So you're not helping yourself here, but whatever. Go ahead. Carry on.
I'm getting my haircut. I told you I had to take off Friday because I had the...
Got to get out of here. Wife set up the haircut. You had to go.
Yeah, and my hairdresser, she's an eccentric but lovable gal.
Big sports fan. You've always got stories about her and teams.
Next week to see the Dodgers and the Yankees at Yankee Stadium, and then going up to Toronto to check off the Blue Jays.
Nice. How close is she to getting? Where is she on it? Sounds like she's trying to hit every ballpark.
Big Yankee fan.
Okay.
And so they just happen to be playing the Dodgers. Golfer. I think she's buddies with Jerry Pinn's daughter and his grandson. It's his grandson Dustin. He's the head pro at South Mountain now.
Okay.
You'd like her.
Oh, Dustin is. I just got asked about him. Yeah. That's funny, and I had lost track of him.
I think he was over at Mountain View and then got moved over to a guy named Brian, retired over there at South Mountain.
Okay.
People I know a little bit. Yeah, feisty little gal. Knows everything about the Cowboys, hardcore Cowboy fan. So she wants to talk sports and among other things. So we're there. I'm getting my hair cut.
Okay.
And she tells me, so she had someone in the recent past ask her, get this question. Unbelievable. Like, I don't have feelings over here. Is PK as arrogant in real life as he is on the radio?
No.
That was the question she got.
Well, depending on tone, that's not necessarily a shot.
That's not a shot. You crumble up and get underneath the counter here, and you'd be in the fetal position for a week.
Number one.
I'm right. Number two, I'm correct.
Number one. No, I wouldn't.
Oh, back me up.
Number 2, we're not talking about me anyway. We're talking about you.
Well, you decide it's not a shot because it's not at you. All shots are major shots to the people that the shot is directed at.
See, there's this. Here's one.
Are there too many shots for too many shots for too many people?
Yes! Get Johnny. Let's go. Let's get Yak a hit.
Shots directed at me.
I shouldn't be the only one who has a hit. You should have a hit.
So, she told her, well, he's like me, and she named the body part.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the deal, people. There's real life, and then there's a show. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to go to the top
Yeah.
to have this explained. A guy who's a trillion times more famous than me, talking about the show versus real life.
My stage persona, the person to be like that all the time, this overbearing, shouting, ego-tripping person, is like, of course you're not really like that. But I think when you're in your late 20s and early 30s, you can be like that all the time. And there are people in show business that never switch off.
But I do. And you know who that was?
That was Mick Jagger.
Yes.
Yes. And Mick, if you watch the SNL 50th anniversary special, they interviewed him because he hosted every decade, so he had an unusual perspective on the show. I mean, his stage persona and the interview persona, totally different.
Yeah.
Totally different. He was soft-spoken. He was thoughtful. It wasn't, start me up. Oh, jeez. Okay.
I'm your neighbor who will take out your garbage and get your mail.
Okay. All right. There you are. Will you walk the dog?
Yeah.
Or is that your wife's? I mean, your wife loves to walk the dog. The dog may not be interested in walking. Your wife will walk the dog.
I can walk the dog. Absolutely. I'll pick up the crap, too.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. When we come back, Chandler Holt joins us from Las Vegas, Utah Jazz insider for KSL Sports. We'll talk Summer League hoops with him. Stay with us.
I think the engine's stalling out on me.
Yeah, that don't sound right.
Dang, got a lot more miles to go.
Nah, it'll be okay, mate. You ride with Geico Motorcycle Insurance and got their 24/7 emergency roadside service. They'll be here with a tow in no time.
Good, because these boots weren't made for walking.
Those riding boots are pretty sweet.
Oh, you like?
Do you think they come in a size 1 inch?
I don't know.
It feels good to ride with help. It feels good to Geico. Emergency roadside service is optional coverage.
Queen Carvania stood haloed by the morning sun. An army hung on her every word.
My champions, I have sold my chariot on Carvana. 'Twas a lovely SUV, an inexplicably queenly offer. They're even coming to the castle to collect it. Tonight, we feast.
An offer you can feast on. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
Ever notice how life's best stories don't happen in your living room? They happen on the open road, out on the water, or parked under the stars. At Progressive, they get that you want to focus on the experience, not worry about the what-ifs. That's why they offer quality insurance designed for your ride, whether that's a boat, RV, or motorcycle. Adventure with confidence. Visit Progressive.com and see how easy it is to protect your favorite way to get away. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in D.C. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Join Scotty G and the coach, Tim Lacombe, Wednesday, 10 to 2 at the Bar Dub Grill off exit 222 in Nephi. DJ PK, we're joined now by Chandler Holt, Utah Jazz insider for KSL Sports. Chandler, good morning.
Good morning, you guys. Thanks for the invite.
109 in Salt Lake City, a record. How hot was it in Vegas? You're down there for Summer League. Were you cooking? Or were we just indoors in AC watching hoops all day? So what do you know?
Yeah, I've definitely been cooking out here, but I was dreading coming down here for that exact reason, just for it to be hotter in Utah yesterday than it was here in Vegas. But yeah, not fun for either of us.
I saw a story that said DiBonsa may shut it down because he's played 2 games and, obviously for precautionary reasons. What are you hearing about Darren Peterson?
Yeah, so I was told Darren Peterson, Cody Williams, Ace Bailey are all not going to be playing tonight against the Chicago Bulls. I'm not sure what that means for the 4th and final game against the Spurs coming up, but I know that those guys won't be playing tonight.
Well, that takes some of the zip out of everything, doesn't it?
Yeah, I was looking forward to a potential Darren Peterson, Caleb Wilson matchup, but I guess we're not going to get it.
Well, if they're done, which wouldn't be surprising because we see this with multiple teams and they've got a certain number of games they want to play or somebody gets injured, guys get shut down in this stuff all the time. What do you think the big takeaway is? And we can start with Peterson and move to the other guys. What's the big takeaway for Peterson if he's done?
Yeah, I would say outside of him basically being as advertised as a number 2 pick, I would say what has stuck out to me was both the defensive activity on that side, just being all over the court. He had 4 stocks yesterday, for example. But then also on offense, the past 2 games, first 2 days or games of Vegas Summer League, the shot wasn't really falling for him very well. It was kind of inefficient nights, but he still finished with 20 or more points in both nights, and that's just because he's already a pro at drawing fouls and getting to the line, getting those easy points. And if you think about it, that's a characteristic of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Go back a few years and you're looking at Houston Rockets James Harden. Like, all of these elite scorers have the ability to rack up some easy points at the line, and Darren Peterson is showing that he can do that. So I really think the sky's the limit for him in terms of his ceiling offensively.
How about the ball in his hand? He made that comment the other day that he didn't get the opportunity to do that at Kansas. It sort of seemed like a shot towards Kansas's program and Bill Self. And he says he's having fun again with him being on the ball. We know he's had some turnover issues. Just evaluate what you're hearing as far as what the coaches and the Angels may think of his ability to play on the ball. Yeah, so you're absolutely right. He was used as an off guard most of his time at Kansas. His season high for assists as a Jayhawk was 4. He never posted more than 4 assists in any game. He's posted 5 or more assists in 2 of the 4 Summer League games so far, including, of course, the second Salt Lake City Summer League game, in which he had 12 assists and 2 turnovers. So I do think that he has the ability to play on the ball. I do think his life will be made a lot easier when he's playing alongside another NBA guard in Keontae George. But yeah, I think that it was very calculated for the coaching staff to put him out there with a lot of on-ball reps right now to let him sort of work through all of the problems he may be having and just sort of maybe knock some of the rust off, because he was a lead ball handler in high school and then didn't really have that opportunity in college. So I do think the duties will be shared between him, Keontae George, Isaiah Collier next year. And with that being said, though, he is facing NBA competition here in Summer League, at least some of it. When the actual season runs around, I wonder if he will be brought along a little bit more slowly, just so they can, get him more comfortable in the offense.
What have you thought of Ace Bailey?
Yeah, unfortunately, we've only seen Ace Bailey for, I think, maybe 3 or 4 quarters across the 5 games that the Utah Jazz have played so far in Summer League. And, of course, yesterday, before he checked out with his back spasms, a rough night, I think he was 0 for 5 shooting. But my main takeaway for Ace, since we haven't seen a lot of on-court stuff, is he looks a lot bigger to me. And I wonder, I haven't heard anything on this, but I wonder if that's maybe related to the back spasms that he's having. But I don't know if he looks taller, but he definitely looks a lot more filled out. And that was a thing for him last year, is that he's really good at getting to his spot, but he doesn't really have the strength to maybe attack all the way downhill or do these other things. And I think that with the new frame that he's showing up, maybe he can be an even better scorer in year 2 and year 1 and get to spots a little bit easier. So, yeah, unfortunate that we haven't seen a lot more Ace Bailey because of the injury stuff, but I'm hopeful that he can be healthy when the season rolls around.
I'm not asking you this, so stay with me, and then you'll get the point, and then you'll get something that I will ask later in a second here. But if I were to ask you, name me all the great plays that Darren Peterson has had in the summer leagues here in Salt Lake and down in Vegas, you'd have to think a second, because there has been several. And now, so that's Darren Peterson doing his thing. But if I ask you to name me the great plays of Cody Williams, you're going to come up with that dunk the other night. So what I'm getting at is we're still only getting glimpses, and there's not enough good plays that we can recite by memory, which means that's a knock on Cody Williams, that he's out there not doing a whole lot. And that's my impression of him. What do you think?
Yeah, so I have tried to hold out hope for Cody Williams. And you're absolutely right that he is a third-year player now in Summer League, and there hasn't really been enough. And that's the thing is, when you're out here in summer league, if you're in your second or third year, like, you need to be one of the best players on the floor. And last night is a perfect example. He plays 23 minutes and only shoots 2 shots, doesn't put a single point on the board. He did have a handful of rebounds and assists and such. But, yeah, no, I 100% agree with you. The thing is with Cody Williams that why I have held out hope for him is the Jazz have so many players who are play finishers, who want to shoot the ball, put points on the board. And Cody Williams is a guy that at least he projects to be a guy who can grab you rebounds. He can run in transition. He's an athlete, right? He can pass the ball, or at least that's what he's working on right now, trying to be a secondary ball handler. And most importantly, he can play some defense. So at least for me, the idea of Cody Williams, just an athletic, defensive-minded guy who can throw down some dunks every now and then, but doesn't really need more than 3 to 5 shots a game. I think that's useful for the Jazz because, like I said, they have so many players who want to shoot the ball all the time. But with that being said, Cody Williams isn't even showing that he can do that in summer league right now. So that absolutely is a knock, and it is a bit of a worry. But I actually did this yesterday in the middle of the game, thinking about how Cody Williams wasn't really showing anything. The Jazz have a deep rotation, and when you're looking at sort of like backup wings, maybe like 2s and 3s, maybe stretched down to 4s if you're thinking about positions Cody Williams will play, you have guys like Kyle Filipowski, Bryce Sensabaugh, John Conchar, Svi Mikhailiuk. Like, if Cody Williams isn't ready or if he isn't showing what the coaching staff needs from him, then it's just he's not going to play, and he is nearing the end of his contract as well. So it is worrisome that you aren't seeing a lot from Cody Williams right now. And I would by no means completely give up on on what he's showing you or the idea of what he can become. But yeah, it has been rough, absolutely.
I think we see the starting lineup, or at least most of it. I think we see who the key backups are who are going to play every night. And then there's a group of guys who are going to play occasionally, depending on who's out, right, in this era where guys are playing 60 or 70 games. So that means you're going to go a couple weeks where you don't play, and then suddenly you're going to be plugged in and you're going to be part of the rotation for 1, 2, or 3 games. You're going to be expected to play your 15 or 20 minutes or whatever because people in front of you are out. Guys like Svi and Conchar, they're 29, they're 30 years old, they've been in the league. I trust them a lot more to not play for 2 weeks and then be able to come in and produce in a year when it matters, where they're going to be trying to get wins. And I don't really count on Cody. Like, you haven't done it. You're 21. You're going to sit for 2 weeks. I'm going to put you in. Maybe he will. Maybe he will produce in that situation, but it doesn't seem like what we ought to be expecting right now. And then they're going to need somebody's money to pay Keontae next summer.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you. I think that Svi and Conchar have almost been a little bit forgotten as guys who are absolutely going to be in the Jazz's rotation next year, just because, like, you need consistency. Like, there are going to be nights when Darren Peterson, Ace Bailey, Keontae George, you can even extend that to Lauri Markkanen and Jaren Jackson, like, their shot isn't going to be falling. Now, I'm not saying Svi and John Conchar are going to hit every shot, but just having some consistency off the bench, because, quite frankly, we can extend this past Cody Williams. You have other young guys who you might rely on for minutes on the bench, like Isaiah Collier and Bryce Sensabaugh and Kyle Filipowski. You don't know what you're going to get from those guys. So just having Will Hardy can rely on a little bit of consistency off the bench, I think that's going to be extremely useful for him.
As far as the big men, do you think they're done in acquisitions?
I do, and honestly, they ended up signing Mo Bamba most recently, but I thought they would be done after signing Jackson Hayes, just because that Jackson Hayes signing to me was like, okay, we had to pivot away from Walker Kessler because the Lakers decided to throw us every first-round pick that they have. So we're going to smack a Band-Aid on our center position for right now, and it isn't going to be optimal. Maybe our ceiling and our floor is lowered for what this team can do next season. But in the eyes of the Angels, it was all worth it for what the return was coming back. And I do think it's probably the smart move to just sort of make some temporary moves around the center position, just because you don't want to get hasty and use all the assets that you just got for your own center to get another center, and then maybe it doesn't work out. So I do think the Jazz will wait until maybe there's a desperate team, or maybe they use a pick on it, or whatever it might be, just so they don't have to maybe overpay and regret a move later on.
Before Kessler was moved, I was thinking 50 wins, 50 wins, 50 wins. I've cooled on that a little bit. Was I too Was I thinking too high early on? Am I thinking too low now? That's exactly parallels what you were thinking? What are your expectations?
That's a really good question. And a lot of times, like, I like the 4 to 9 range, right, was sort of where that's a big range, but that's sort of where I was thinking for the Jazz with Walker Kessler, maybe closer to the 4 than the 9. But I also, and this is still a thought that I have even post Walker Kessler trade, I just can't shake the idea that the Jazz could really be a dominant regular season team next year. Think about like the Sacramento Kings team that I think finished as the second seed in the West a couple of years ago or something like that. And then they just get bounced in the first round of the playoffs. I don't think the Jazz are ready for any sort of playoff competition yet, but I think a lot of these guys, including Lauri Markkanen, who hasn't played in the playoffs yet in his career, are ready to go. And I do think, I don't know if they'll gas themselves in the regular season or what it will look like. And there is something to be said about a mindset shift from being a tanking team to a competitive team. But yeah, I do think that losing Walker Kessler absolutely makes you a worse team than you were a week ago, right? And that your ceiling and your floor is a little bit lower. I do think now, if I had to predict, I would say the Jazz will likely be somewhere in the 40 wins. I would assume they'll be above 500, but also the Western Conference is a different animal, so we'll see.
We see guys down there interviewing Jaren Jackson and Keontae George and all. Do you know what they're doing for working out? Because surely they're not just sitting around eating the buffets while they're down there.
I am not entirely sure. I know that the Jazz worked out at like a UNLV practice facility the other day, not yesterday, but the day before. So maybe there is gym access for those guys to get in on it, but I also imagine maybe they're using this as, one of the 2 or 3 weeks that they take off during the summer. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest.
Anybody else catch your eye while you're down there? Any of these top picks you're trying to figure out who they are, what they are? Just get a better beat on them?
Yeah, absolutely. I was there for the Chicago Bulls-Memphis Grizzlies game the other day, and that was my first time seeing Caleb Wilson in person. And, man, he went off. He shot, I think it was 7 for 11 from 3 when the knock on him in the pre-draft process was that he couldn't shoot threes. And he brought Cam Boozer and the Grizzlies, who are an extremely solid summer league team, to the final buzzer, basically. But, yeah, he finished with 35. So that was probably the main thing that stuck out to me, just because I had already seen AJ at BYU and Cam Boozer at the Salt Lake City Summer League. So my first time seeing Caleb, it was pretty cool. He's a really good player.
If Austin Ames gives you any trouble, you just let me know, okay?
Okay.
What are you going to do about it?
Well, talk to him.
Austin, here's how it is.
Yeah, you take care of our guy Chandler Holt. He's making a name for himself. He's going to be bigger. Like in 10 years, he's going to be bigger than David James.
There it is. Embrace it, Chandler.
Okay.
All right, Chandler. Thanks for waking up and coming on the air here. And when you get back, we'll tell you stories about people who were on the road who did not wake up for our show.
Okay.
When we called. That's happened. Yock's got a great story about a guy who yawned all the way through a show. That was you forgot about that, right? Yeah, when you go to the Pacific time zone, we've had mixed results. So good work, Chandler. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for the invite, guys.
There's Chandler Holt, Utah Jazz insider for KSL Sports. Check him out at KSLSports.com, YouTube, social media. He's got a lot of Jazz content. All right, DJ and PK, we'll take a break. When we come back, everything you missed in this show, we'll get you up to speed next. Stay with us.
3, 2, 1. This is Scotty G and Coach Tim LeCoe.
Nobody cares about the score. Washington did beat the Jazz 92-88. AJ DeBonsa, his first game in Summer League, had some moments. Darren Peterson still put up the points, but not quite at the level and quite the efficiency that we saw in the 2 games in Salt Lake City. So everybody out there is like, oh, AJ won that head-to-head battle.
You've got to remove loyalty, which is hard to do. And I think in this case, there's a lot of people that are torn in this valley because, one guy, AJ, played here locally, and then obviously Darren being picked. So I just actually sat back like a coach would sit back, and I watched it, and I think what AJ showed is what AJ can do. Basically, on one end, AJ was kind of being AJ, and on the other end, Washington was hell-bent on not even letting him get a catch.
Catch Scotty G and Coach weekdays from 10 to 2. Presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
You're listening to this podcast, so I know you've got a curious mind. Here's a helpful fact you may not know yet. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save over $900 on average. Pop over to Progressive.com, answer some questions, and you'll get a quick quote with discounts that are easy to come by. In fact, 99% of their auto customers earn at least one discount. Visit Progressive.com and see if you can enjoy a little cash back. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings of $946 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2024 and May 2025. Potential savings will vary.
Best thing that's ever happened to you financially. Go.
Easy. Sold my car on Carvana. Amazing offer.
Really? I hit 200 on the scratcher.
Did the scratcher come to your house and hand you a check?
No.
How many scratchers did you hit to get that? I hit a button on Carvana.com once.
Okay, that's fair.
It's like the lottery, except you always win.
Not like the lottery at all, actually.
Exactly. Inexplicably good. Offers worth bragging about. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
Slacker Radio Headlines brought to you by Trajan Wealth. Call Trajan Wealth today, your local trusted financial fiduciary. Call them at 1-855-TRAJAN1 or visit the website at TrajanWealth.com. Yak, what two golfers have you given away so far? I know you can't say who you're going to give away next at the end of this segment.
We have given away Colin Morikawa and J.J. Spawn.
All right. We'll have another qualifier here at the end of this segment for the Copper Rock Open Championship giveaway. The golf this weekend, PK, we talked about it a little bit. Tom Kim won the Scottish Open by 2 strokes over Min Woo Lee, and Rory McIlroy, who shot a 64. He shot a 30 on the front side. I think it was at 16. He was talking about trying to work on the range and moving the ball right to left, but a little too much of that action, and so he ended up way left. And as he's watching the flight of the ball, he yells, he gets picked up by a microphone, "I am terrible at golf," which is hilarious because he obviously is not. He has a career slam and is a multimillionaire.
Yes. I think he's very good at golf.
Whoever was on a broadcast at that point is like, I'll trade you. That was a nice quick response.
Yeah, but I mean, that's what we do.
It's the nature of golf. Everybody hits bad shots.
Yeah.
Saw a thing, they're back at, I think, is it Royal Birkdale, right? And someone did a thing, they went and stood on the hill that Spieth shot over, and they showed where he used the rule to move back and hit from the range and get a better lie and clear all these hills and mountains and blast it back over all the trouble into the fairway.
That was 10 years ago now.
And make bogey.
Yeah.
And then he had an eagle and like 3 birdies down the stretch right after that.
28 minutes or something.
Yeah, and he won, which is the last major he won, and they were speculating in this piece, is that the last major he'll ever win? And when they show you the shot he hit, is like super creative, a really difficult shot.
That particular shot?
And he made it work.
Remember.
Yeah, I mean, it's the angle he's hitting back into the fairway. It'd be easy to go right through the fairway into the junk or to come up short. And phenomenal work by him.
Yeah.
But it was a decade ago, and now we have our draft, and nobody ever picks Spieth. None of us believe it. And no one ever texts us or emails or yells at us and says, "What do you think?"
Well, no one ever believed in Wyndham Clark. No one ever believed in Tiger at the end. No one ever believed in Matthew Fitzpatrick except me.
Yeah, baby. How long have we been doing this draft now?
Long enough. Not long enough for you guys to catch me.
I wish we had the all-time records. No, I think you've doubled me up. Maybe
I've got
more.
8.
Then you've certainly doubled me up. I think I have 3.
I don't know what you guys have.
Yeah.
I don't.
You don't care. That's what you were going to say.
The Dodgers don't care if it's the Padres or Diamondbacks who finish in second.
We did talk Dodger baseball. One of, what do you think? How many teams right now can you confidently say they're definitely in the playoffs? We're at the All-Star break. This is the time.
The Dodgers. What are you going to say?
Did you know the Dodgers have a magic number, by the way, already?
What is it?
55 games.
Yeah.
I was going to say, PKs should have just said, "I don't think of you at all."
Yeah, that's what he was going to say. Absolutely. You and I heard the same thing. Yeah.
You got your strengths.
Dodgers have and picking golf tournaments is not one of them. The Dodgers have more wins than everybody, a better run differential than everybody. They are the only team in Major League Baseball that's already scored 500 runs.
And yet the Diamondbacks swept them.
Yeah, baby. Take that. You're still laughing about golf. You can't even focus on baseball. How many baseball teams do you have in now? It's the All-Star break. How many are confident they'll be in the playoffs? Which, as you point out, expanded wild card. It's 12 out of the 30 make it now.
Well, I think that in the
Brew
National
Crew?
League, yes.
Milwaukee's in?
I think the Cubs, Phillies, and then the division leaders.
Oh, you have 5 in. Everybody else is playing for one spot, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cubs have survived all that. They got to be healthier in the second half. They've had so many pitchers on the injured list. I mean, it's been up over 15. And yet they're still in a playoff spot. The 10-game winning streak, another 10-game winning streak, a really bad losing stretch, and now they've been on fire again going into the break. So they've ridden through the storm.
I think there's a lesson, though, for the Dodgers and all their money. The Diamondbacks did sweep them. It's baseball.
And it happens, and it could happen in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And the whole thought, I read a thing about Skubal, are the Tigers in or are they out? And they've had although they lost the last 2 to the Phillies, they had a good run there and won 6 in a row and 9 out of 10. If they're out, if somebody who has an ace gets Skubal, then that team automatically becomes, under the theory of the story.
You read Nightingale's.
Was it Nightingale who wrote that? Yeah. They automatically become the threat. And that's what the Dodgers should fear. Best thing for the Dodgers is that Skubal stays in Detroit.
Or the American League. But, they got Snell and Glasgow who haven't pitched. If they come back, who's to say, what happens there? It's hard to backdoor anything. So they'll have guys that'll do their thing. You see the Machado. Machado had a great quote.
He did. It was buried at the end of the Nightingale thing. It's baseball. It's a crazy game.
Obviously, there's a lot of things that haven't been really going our way. It's baseball, man. That's the beauty of it. And I've been a part of it. It's a beautiful game, and we're all stupid to be playing it. We're all stupid to be playing it because it's a life of struggle. And that's the ultimate in this game. Yeah, it's the one sport where you fail far more than you succeed. There's no other sport like it.
You can make an out. You can make another out. You can make another out. Yeah. And with one swing of the bat, everyone will say, he had a great day. that one swing out of 4. I mean, it's not even a sport where you have to hit 300 anymore. That's long since gone. So
no. Well, there's few guys who did.
Right.
They were always the exception. I think those guys still have a place in this game. But, yeah, baseball is built on pitching, defense, and timely hitting. It'll never change. You change the rules, and they've done very well to change the rules and make it more fan-friendly, which I think they should because ultimately it's entertainment. You don't make a mockery, but you do what you can to make it more fan-friendly. And this idea of shooting a free throw and count as 3 free throws or 2 free throws if it's just a three-pointer or 2 for 1 if it's 2. No, that's not fan-friendly. If you want to shorten it, stop the stinking reviews every 5 seconds. Yeah, that's one thing. But, it's Summer League, so who really cares? But the point being, all sports should try to make their games fan-friendly without making a mockery of the tradition of the sport.
And the NBA's tradition is to constantly make it more or the NFL's tradition is to constantly make it more fan-friendly, and we accept changes more quickly than them because they don't have, hey, we haven't changed anything for 50 years, so we don't have to worry about that because they're changing stuff all the time. And like you say, yeah, look where they are. Everybody flocks to it.
Yeah.
And there's still rules they haven't changed that I'm waiting for them to change. Why you have to get 2 feet in bounds to make a catch? Use the 1 like in college. It's going to lead to more completed catches and more dramatic catches. So makes the field bigger. I mean, the field's the same size, but
I haven't noticed a big difference on that. I'm not necessarily opposed to it.
That's one I'm waiting on.
Yeah, and the college game, my goodness, if you take a timeout, advance the ball. Christian Laettner making the pass on the full court, it's such an iconic play because it rarely ever happens.
It's really hard. I can remember 2. I remember that.
And then Ole Miss.
What I remember
is Mississippi State.
No, I don't remember the exact. What it was
they threw the ball out, and the Mississippi State guy caught it in the air and threw it to Drew, and he hits the 3 in the NCAA tournament.
That's who they did it to.
Valparaiso.
I think it was the Valpo play. Okay. I can't remember who they did it to. Yeah, no, I remember the Valpo play.
Mississippi State.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. Yeah, I remember Duke making it on just throwing it to Leitner, and then Valpo with the quick pitch. And I've seen the pass and the catch work before, but not the shot, because I've seen other people try the Valpo thing, because so many people react to the ball.
Yeah, but they need to do that. And don't foul out, guys. Have a penalty. Maybe you get 2 free throws if that dude commits a foul.
They got to escalate the free throws.
Expelled.
Moving to just the 10 I didn't like, because then guys just foul more and it stops the game more. So the penalty has to be big. Maybe you give people 3 free throws or 2 free throws in the ball. So you don't want to foul, but you don't kick them out. Right. Because you want the star in the game playing, but then we can all look at him like, well, you can't do that because there'll be 2 free throws and they'll get the ball back.
Right.
That'd be a big penalty.
There has to be a consequence.
Right. There has to be a big consequence.
Expulsion and stop in the college game. If there's a targeting, they're kicked out the next game. Or the
just
next
kicking
half.
them out of that game is enough.
Yeah, that's good enough.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that is a lot. Depending on who the player is, yes. Could be massive.
We talked a lot of NBA today. The Jazz got blown out by the Clippers. We had Chandler Holt on. He said the word in Vegas is that the 3 guys you most want to see are not going to play in the Bulls game this evening, and probably not against the Spurs on Wednesday. See if they just shut them down this week. We may have seen what we're going to see.
I'd drag Cody out there just as a punishment.
Until we see more.
Yeah, I'm not seeing enough, man.
Nope. Not. And he's making $6 million, and they're going to have to be Keontae next summer. And so where are you going to come up with all this money? You're going to have to let people go.
Right.
So we'll figure it out. We've got 1 year to make an impact. Ace Bailey, some kind of back spasm problem, really limited him. So no Ace Bailey, no Cody, and no Darren Peterson.
Then we'll never see Ace Bailey in the Summer League again, and that makes me sad.
You're probably right about that. Second year, he'll have a good year, and then they don't usually ask the third-year guys to do it. And
right.
So
if Flipper and Collier aren't doing it,
you got to assume Ace Bailey won't either.
Yeah.
Right. They'll see enough out of him.
That is an anecdote that it just goes by so fast.
It really does. It's not usually how we talk about it.
Summer League career is over.
Summer League career.
That's the point. Yeah. Take advantage of it. Time gets away.
Big money stories. We got a couple of them. People love to talk big money. Victor Wembanyama, 5 years, $252 million. He did not take the full $303 million he was eligible for. He wants to give the Spurs more roster flexibility. Can they build a better team around him?
He's French, right?
Yeah.
Immediately right there, he's cutting costs on deodorant.
This stuff just comes to you, huh?
Yes. That's the essence right there. You capsulized me.
Let your inner 13-year-old out, PK.
Yes.
Deodorant jokes.
You put me in a box perfectly.
Are we going to see more players do this? Because the second apron, and you hate that term, is acting like a hard cap like they have in the NFL. And we've seen in the NFL, the teams that have good quarterbacks on $30 million beat the teams that have great quarterbacks on $50 million. The quarterbacks making $50 million, they're all really good, and only half of them made the playoffs. They don't have a good enough team around them.
But I think that if you want to have a cap in baseball, they're going to take away my sport from me next year.
Yeah, you're bracing yourself for what seems inevitable.
It's a joke, right? Absolutely a joke, right? And you're
all making a lot of money.
Yeah. But you penalize financially. The problem, this apron stuff, you can't sign this player. You can't do this. You can't do that. Just penalize them financially out the wazoo if that's what you want.
That's what they do.
But don't tell me you cannot make moves. You literally can't make the move.
You can. You just choose not to because you're getting penalized out the wazoo.
There's restrictions and they should be.
The Knicks won the championship and immediately let the guy go who got the huge rebound in the last minute of the final game. And the owner said, second apron. I don't want to pay that kind of money.
But I think that it should be tailored for a guy like Mitchell Robinson.
I like where you're going.
It's not Jalen Brunson.
I think the tailoring needs to involve guys you drafted.
That's what I said.
Yeah,
if you develop guys, if you draft guys and develop guys, these bird rights spiels, and we're getting way in the weeds that I don't like going, that it should be, you should be able to keep them. They have to get rid, now it could come to this, not saying it will. They have to decide, do we keep Keontae George or not? This kid, I want to see him play until the Jazz don't want to see him play for them. Because he has the opportunity to be a 10-year guy. He's going to have a great career. You picked him, 16? That means half the league passed on him. You shouldn't have to give him away.
But the Thunder are getting to that point with a $250 million payroll, and it looks like they're going to be able to make it probably through this year without really getting to the core. But next year they might have to. And for them, it's full circle. There have been other teams along the way who've had to do this, and more will have to. But they did it with Harden in the previous generation, where they moved him and kept Russell Westbrook and kept Kevin Durant because they couldn't afford all of them under the rules of that era. And it bugs people. The Thunder had something going. They'd been to a final against the Heat, and they broke it up. Now they have a title. They played a great 7-gamer.
Yeah, I mean, Durant left, though.
He did. But if Harden had stayed and they'd won, would Durant have left? I mean, maybe he would have.
I don't know.
I know.
Who knows him?
The other big money story is that Seattle, the Seahawks, have been sold for an NFL record $9.6 billion. San Francisco 49ers had a limited partner, Vinod Khosla, who will now take over as a controlling owner of the Seahawks. He put together a group because nobody has $9.6 billion lying around. So you put together a group.
Nobody? Bezos?
Nope, not lying around. Got it all
Who's the
invested.
other guy?
It's all tied up.
Some other guy is really super rich.
Elon Musk?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. And he doesn't have billions.
He's supposed to be a trillionaire. Yeah.
Which is
not just lying around. He's got all tied up in rockets and stuff. I guess he could leverage it.
I used to think when I heard that guy's name being out there, is that a cologne or what is that?
I didn't
have any idea who this guy is.
When I was first hearing about that guy, Elon Musk, I'm like, what? Huh?
Yeah.
Yep.
I thought, is it a French cologne?
Now we hear about him all the time.
Yeah, but I couldn't think of his name.
Stephon Diggs, 32-year-old free agent wide receiver, sometimes has created a little bit of drama, remains unsigned with about 2 weeks to go until training camp, believes he's as good as any secondary wideout option. My opinion, I can compete with anybody. Take those top wide receivers, you got your ones, right? You can't name a number 2 better than me. Some team that needs a receiver, I'm thinking about Kansas City.
I guess the expression is go number 2.
Hey, now. Give him a 1-year deal so he's on his best behavior.
Why would you say that, though? I'm not that good, but I'm the best of the secondary guys.
Because I don't think he can convince people he's as good as the star receivers, but he might be able to convince somebody
just
that
say,
he can
I
be
belong
second.
in the league.
He does.
I'm a player.
The problem is all the stuff that comes with it.
Not that I'm not that good. Yeah, I know, and it's not good enough.
Never happy.
Right. Yeah.
Your Arizona comparison, not Marbury, Marion, Sean Marion, making $17 million. Steve Nash passing you the ball. Your home games in 72 degrees in Arizona when everybody else is sludging through.
Sure, but I don't think Marion had those off the field or court issues.
No, he just wasn't happy. And Diggs isn't happy, but he really can make an issue when he's not happy.
Yeah.
All right, DJ PK, anything else you want to tell the people?
They're beautiful.
Netflix All-Star Break Home Run Derby tonight. All-Star game on Fox tomorrow, but Netflix
I hope
has
my
Home
kid
Run
has
Derby.
Netflix.
Time to give away golfer. Copper Rock Open Championship giveaway. Caller 12-801-575-ZONE will be assigned a golfer in the Open Championship this week. We're giving away the top 25 and the field. The winner will win a Copper Rock branded polo, outerwear piece, hat, and a $100 gas gift card. So all the merch and $100 of free gas. Brought to you by Copper Rock, where the pros play. DJ PK, time for your feedback. Caleb Wilson, number 4 pick in the draft, 35 points, 7 threes for the Bulls Summer League team. His first game in 5 months after breaking his wrist. It's too early for buyer's remorse, right? Ben, the Jazz got the best player in the draft. Stop already.
Yeah, it's not specifically related to Darren Peterson and the Jazz, though. See how all 3 players that were drafted ahead of him.
There was a time when he was talked about as if he could break through one of those 3 and climb into the top 3. And then all of a sudden, all that talk went quiet. And the last at least month, but maybe 6 or 7 weeks, there was nothing about that. And he just seemed locked in at 4, and sure enough, he was 4.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. There's a ton of potential there. Brian, seriously, is this a serious post or clickbait? We have DP. If you want buyer's remorse, take Wilson over DP and regret the next 10 years. Not because Wilson is bad, he's a stud. DP could be that special. All caps for the word that.
Yeah, but I'm not taking a shot at the Jazz pick, though.
If a 6'10 guy can really shoot it like that, look out. That's the thought.
Well, Darren Peterson has done nothing to cause me to think twice. It's more about what Caleb Wilson and how much. The thing about Caleb Wilson is that he was such an unknown because of the injury.
Got hurt, didn't play.
Yeah.
Biggest part of the season.
Right.
And he's out.
And then he talked about how, well, we were looking to run the ball, and so I didn't really get an opportunity to have spot-up shots and so forth. So that's the thing about it. And we've seen guys that are hyped, and then they go to college, and the college thing doesn't work out, and they sort of fall off the map. Or it's not the right college for them to utilize their skills, because those guys, those college guys, it's always a difficult situation for them. They recruit these. If a 4- and 5-star kid wants to come to your program, you're going to take them. But then if they don't have the results, or, you have to fit the style in and all that stuff, and you only got them for 35 games. So there's really no time for development. And
they're paid. The coaches are paid to win.
Yeah.
They're paid to win now. They're not paid to develop a guy for the NBA.
Right. But yet you want, and Kevin Young is right to do it, to talk about, hey, it's the NBA, man. Come here. We run an NBA model program. We've got all these people that can help you, Now you judge a program by its commitment on the second row. How many people are sitting in the second row? If they got 10 folks, men and women, then wow, they're really into it. They're spending a lot of money, right?
They're running an NBA program.
Yeah. And Van Gundy made a joke about it with the Clippers now, their bench last night. He said, man, it seems like they got 2 coaches for every player. Well, that indicates, the amount of expense. So they're attracted because you want to go to Kansas because they do put guys in the NBA. But then Self has to negotiate all that. You wonder if these guys, if Bill Self had to tell you the truth, man, that wasn't worth it.
I think that's absolutely
too much drama and headache. And then he goes out and he says, the kid says, "Wow, man, I wasn't used properly." It's like, bleep you.
So
and then they're here and gone.
Go get a bunch of transfers, get some older guys.
I know, but if a 4- and 5-star wants to come to your program, what are you going to do?
It's hard to walk away from the talent.
No, we're not going to take you?
It's hard to walk away from the talent.
Yeah. And Calipari has had all these NBA guys. He only got 1 title.
Got to have the complete team. And speaking of that, here's James's post. It's too early for buyer's remorse, right? James says, yes, exclamation point. Way too early, exclamation point. Wilson, Booker, DeBonson, Peterson, or one of many others could be him, all caps. Perhaps not a one of them. Perhaps a few of them. Each will have doubt-producing days. Each will have praise-producing days. I just want a championship, exclamation point.
Ultimately, that's what the fans care
There
about.
it is, James. There it is.
Yeah, it's a little bit different in the pros, because you develop these guys and you've got them for several years.
Do you feel, and somewhere in here, and I don't know where it is, but somebody brought this up. We got a lot of responses here, but someone said getting drafted by the wrong team can wreck your development. Do you think any of these players got drafted by the wrong team?
I don't know yet.
When I read that, I thought the two teams in the four that have done a pretty good job of producing young players where young players go and get better are the Grizzlies and the Jazz. So I guess just defaulting, and that's without going there, and this is why these meetings are so important. And this is why as media and as fans, we can have fun with the draft, but we're cut out of the real meat and potatoes part of the process. Going, having a conversation, looking at somebody, you're big on this, how people talk to you and how they look you in the eye and how they present themselves. It's not fair to hold the current Wizards management at fault for everything that's gone wrong in Washington over the last 45 years. It just isn't.
Right.
And we do see these clubs sold occasionally, and I don't think there's a more dramatic change than the Warriors, who were pretty good. They got sold. They were bad for 17 years. That owner sold, and they got really good again. And won 4 championships, and they drafted well. And the new owners brought in Jerry West as a consultant. You don't have to do it every day, Jerry. Just tell us what you think.
Well, I look at the 4 teams, and the Jazz are the most stable because either you have a new coach or you only had a coach in his first year. The Bulls, new guy, what's his face? The kid, that guy from Portland, what's his name? Splitter.
Thiago Splitter.
Is that who the coach is?
Thiago, yeah.
Yeah, and so that's brand new. I think the other two, Memphis and Washington, are only 1 year.
They are. Yeah.
So the Jazz got a lot of stability here. And they've had stability. Stability on its own isn't great, but it was stability that made sense. You're going to bring in Will Hardy and give him a subpar product. He's not going to win. I don't care who you are.
But young players have been getting better.
Yeah. And
so it was the previous generation of Memphis under the previous coach, but we did see young guys get better. We saw them draft multiple guys and saw them get better. You could probably list 4, 5, 6.
But such major change in the personnel, too. Both Washington and Memphis, major change. The Jazz, not really major change.
Right.
You bring in Jackson, you lose Kessler. That's it.
All right, DJ PK, we're all done. Coming up next, Scotty G and the coach Tim Lacombe right here on The Zone.
5 a.m. I'm up with a crisp Celsius energy drink. Running 12 miles today. Grab a green juice, quick change, and head to work. Meetings, workshops. 1 more Celsius, no slowing down. Working late, but obviously still meeting the girls for a little dancing. Celsius. Live, fit, go. Grab a cold, refreshing Celsius at your local retailer or locate now at Celsius.com.
Best thing that's ever happened to you financially. Go.
Easy. Sold my car on Carvana. Amazing offer.
Really? I hit 200 on the scratcher.
Did the scratcher come to your house and hand you a check?
No.
How many scratchers did you hit to get that? I hit a button on Carvana.com once.
Okay, that's fair.
It's like the lottery, except you always win.
Not like the lottery at all, actually.
Exactly. Inexplicably good. Offers worth bragging about. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.